This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE and ECW wrestler, the Blue Meanie. We cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm Josh Shernoff. He is the Blue Meanie, and this is take 1,000. Holy crap, Meanie, how are you?
Yeah, I mean, we should be like an hour and 20 minutes into where we actually try to start this thing, and technical difficulties be damned.
Dude, Ecamm Live giveth and taketh away. That's all I'll say.
But according to them, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. With the people at Ecamm Live have informed us that the issues we're having are not possible.
Right.
No, so
They're a myth.
Yeah,
They're
a quick peek behind the curtain. First of all, if we didn't love our Patreon members before, we really love them now because they've just sat for the last hour waiting for us to just fuck around on this Ecamm Live thing. So basically what's happening here is
some inside baseball.
Yeah, so for, I don't remember when we started this, but a good 15 to 20 episodes we've been using.
Me and you have at least been talking for 44 minutes.
Yes, I mean, this has been going on for a long time. But no, I mean that we've been using this platform through Ecamm.
Oh, yeah.
First we were doing Call Recorder, and now we're doing the Ecamm Live. So I don't really get, we've never had this problem. We've always had this problem when we were doing the stuff on Fight TV, where I hear myself on like a repeat. Like I'll hear myself back. Which now I'm wondering if we figured out the answer to fixing that. Maybe we have. Who knows? But we
say
ended
it
up
out
having,
loud. Say it out loud so you have it recorded. So if we have this problem again, just go listen to the episode.
Yes. Okay. So the problem is we need to mute the Skype in Ecamm Live. That's what we do. The Skype feed in Ecamm Live gets muted, and you hear me and Meanie through Roadcaster. Having said that, for at least 2 months, we've been doing it the other way, having absolutely no problem. But apparently, today is the day we're having a problem. Our pod squad let us know that Meanie was echoed. We fixed Meanie's echo, and then I was not even echoed. I was on delay. Like I would speak, and then 15 seconds later, you'd hear me back, as though I was because I was monitoring it. Who knows? Whatever it is, we are here. We are live, and I can't believe we still have people joining us live. Man, I am, as they say, red-assed right now. So this is gonna be a show. I am rocking my alternative commentary shirt that you can find at ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. And Meanie, you are rocking the Mind of the Meanie. I call it the badge so that we don't get sued for saying ECW ripoff.
Yeah. But trust me, it's been ripped off.
It's awesome. It's such a cool shirt.
Yeah. Initially, I had the Meanie Toons shirt on. I was like, dude, we both can't be wearing gray.
Right. Hey, speaking of Meanie Toons, it's been announced. And the Patreon members will be getting Meanie Toons 2 days early. They're going to get Meanie Toons today. I guess. Who the hell knows? Nothing's working today. So, but you're going to be getting Meanie Toons as soon as we wrap this up. So in 6 or 7 hours. But Meanie Toons
we might as well
2.
just call this fucking episode Spinal Tap because everything that could have went wrong.
Seriously. This was.
You okay?
I'm half hot over here. And you know what? I can't even crack open a seltzer because I didn't have any seltzers left. So when I was out at Wegmans, I went and grabbed this because it was in the fridge there and cold. So check this out. Yeah, that's right. It's a bottle.
Should I crack mine open?
Crack it open, please. Mixed berry.
What are you drinking?
Mixed berry.
Okay. I am drinking Wegmans brand Dragon Fruit Berry.
Ah, and I know why you're drinking the Wegmans brand. You sneaky son of a gun. So the Blue Meanie came by my house the other day with Mrs. Meanie in tow, and we had a great socially distant meeting in the driveway as my kids lost their minds
They were so cute, though, man.
Oh, thank you.
You popped out a couple good ones.
Yeah, I personally popped them out. But no, they were so excited, and actually, you know how we know that my mom apparently listens to the show.
Wow.
Hey, Mom.
Hi,
So
Mama Shernoff.
here's a way to really piss my mom off. You met my newborn son.
Oh,
She has not. So,
well, to be fair, I didn't hold your newborn son. That'll be her.
Yes,
privilege.
that is true. You were very socially distant. My wife kept her distance, and you kept your distance. We all were well behaved except for my kids, who were running after Mrs. Meanie's balls, her juggling balls. She brought the juggling balls. My daughter was so excited. She comes in. My sister-in-law was staying with us overnight, and she comes to the house, and she goes, sees my sister-in-law. She's like, Mrs. Meanie showed me how to juggle, and I was juggling, and she was so proud of me. And
so
she was like,
funny.
so, doesn't matter if mommy and daddy are proud, as long as Mrs. Meanie is proud. My son, could not, my oldest son, he could not, get over the fact that he met you. He started referring to things later on. I think he was washing his hands after going to the bathroom and splashed or something, and basically said something along the lines of it wasn't exactly this, but it was the, oh my God, I splashed all over myself on the day I met the Blue Meanie. It was he was, everything was having to do with he was basically name dropping you. I've taught him well.
He's got to set his standard higher than me though. You got to take him to a couple conventions. Let me.
No, he's very happy. You and Kane are his two favorites.
Nice. Well, I'm in good company then. I'm in good company with Kane.
Well, I didn't want to. The thing is, I didn't want to show him. I may have talked about this on the show once before. I didn't want to show him wrestling because he is such a wild kid. He learned how to wrestle having never watched wrestling. He just. And when I say learned how to wrestle, yeah, he knows how to.
How old is he?
He's 3.5.
Oh wow!
It's mostly high spots at this point.
He has no psychology whatsoever.
No, psychology's out there. Yeah, totally out there. Story, yes. Psychology in a match,
dude, your
no.
3-year-old psychology is the fucking shits.
Oh man, he's gonna bury you now. He already had Shinsuke Nakamura kick your head off.
Oh, I mean, well, that could probably happen in real life too. So,
but no, he was just so excited. But with Kane, I had shown him Kane's debut. Because I was like, that's kind of cool without having to show a real wrestling match. So he ran around for a month yelling, "It's got to be Kane. That's got to be Kane." But yeah,
hey, they had the meanie dance down pretty good. So.
Oh, my daughter.
Oh, that wasn't an echo
my
anyway.
son.
That's just me mentally stuttering into the mic. Right. Oh, Jesus.
No, man, it was so good to have you guys come over. We talked a little bit about how it sucked because last time you were over doing the exact same thing, socially distancing, we were like, hey, this summer, we'll get together and actually not have to worry about this virus. And, well, that didn't work.
Us, right?
But, yep.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We get cooped up in the fucking house. And me and Mrs. Meanie always talk about, man, we were really getting good at traveling and doing all this stuff. And right before the shutdown, we were supposed to go to Vegas for Cauliflower Alley, and all these things we had planned for the summer just got ripped away.
Yep.
And we'd sit around the house. I mean, we try to keep things proper. Every now and then we'll break quarantine and hang with people we trust and stuff like that, like Donnie and Bev or whatever. But she was like, we were just sitting at home. She's like, hey, let's go for a ride. You got those shirts to take to Josh. Let's take the shirts over to Josh. I was like, fine by me. Just get out. I love driving too, man. Get out on the road and just drive. And your area is really nice. And, it was a nice drive, a nice scenic drive to get us out of the house. It was a good mind eraser to be in the car just driving and coming over. And, like we said, we kept things socially distanced in the driveway, and it was cool. It was cool. It was fun. and I'm glad we could do it. And
Yeah.
get out of the house and do something.
And it's always fun to see it. It is like so weird still because we've only been in person with each other twice since we started this podcast.
Yeah.
And prior to starting the podcast, we had like a really like nice cordial relationship of like bump into each other at conventions and always have a nice conversation. Yeah. But now, like, I talk to you more than I talk to anybody, and now we have like an actual friendship. So it's so weird sometimes. Like when I see you in person, it's just, it's almost like bizarre,
That's very true. 'Cause, like you said,
in a good way,
I know.
But yeah,
I feel like we're doing the podcast like astronauts. We're just like fucking. You're in Cape Canaveral, and I'm up in the. I'm orbiting the Earth. And how's your pressure up there in the International Space Station?
I tell you, my blood pressure went straight through the roof when we were trying to get this show going.
Yeah. So when we see each other in person, I'm like, it's like weird. It is weird. Like, even though we met each other countless times and know each other and all that good stuff.
Well, it's also you and I are relatively the same size when I'm looking at it on this monitor here. We're the same height, same size. And then in person, I feel like a little midget, which
I forget how tall I am sometimes.
Yeah, I can say midget because I am one. No, I'm not, which is almost
or as the
even,
French say, midget.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah. I don't know. What are we calling this show? Spinal Tap, you said?
It's got to be Spinal Tap, I guess. Dude, for all the people, to justify calling Spinal Tap, Spinal Tap, if you don't know what it is, go and watch it. It's a fake documentary, and they actually kind of coined the phrase mockumentary. Well, no, they coined the phrase rockumentary, which MTV went and stole and started doing a rockumentary. Yeah. But I also call them mockumentary. It's like a fake documentary on a fictional band. Yeah. And the band has so many, like a series of mishaps. So, like, it's become this thing where, if a band's in concert and something goofy happens, or whether on stage or traveling or whatever, they go, oh, man, I had a Spinal Tap moment. Which is basically a botch. In wrestling, it's a botch, like botchamania. Shout out to Matthew.
Oh, Matthew would have had a field day with the first 45 minutes of us attempting to do this.
Yeah. I mean, we could hit the end credits right now. So, no, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, Spinal Tap's a great movie. It's Michael McKean. And it's the whole crew that does like Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman, and it's the same crew of people. They all do. They've done a series of fake documentaries. It's the same crew, and it's awesome. But yeah, Spinal Tap, a fake documentary about a fictional band, was so realistic that like Ozzy Osbourne watched it and got depressed. Because it reminded him of so many different things that happened to him. Man. And going back to BlueDust versus GoldDust at St. Valentine's Day Massacre, I told you I was trying to bump out and do kind of things to get heat to save Dustin's back, so he didn't have to, take bumps and stuff. And for whatever reason, I bumped out and I'm walking up down and I go, "Hello, Cleveland," which is... There's a scene in Spinal Tap where they're trying to go to the stage and they can't find their way from the dressing room to the stage and they end up in the boiler room.
Which I'm pretty sure.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure that Chris Jericho copied that back when he
absolutely
in WCW. Did. When he kept, remember that?
Yeah, Jericho totally did the whole Spinal Tap can't find his way to the ring. And, you always borrow from the best.
Fun fact about that.
Yes.
He also... I believe, is Spinal Tap the one with the little man in the olive?
Yeah,
he borrowed from that as well, and then borrowed from when he won the AEW title. He's like, "Look, we have olives. Oh, look, there's a little man in this one." And then he's like, "What do we have here? Ooh, a little bit of the bubbly," which was from Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
So his entire already iconic title win at AEW. The man basically quoted Spinal Tap and Dumb and Dumber and somehow made so much merchandise off of this.
Yeah. And another phrase that came out of Spinal Tap was, turn it up to 11. because there's a scene where the guitar player Nigel Tufnell, he's talking with Rob Reiner, who's the fictional. He's like the documentarian, the fake documentarian, but he really is directing the movie. But he's also in the storyline, and they're going over all his guitars and stuff. He goes, and over here we have my Marshall amps. And if you look at the knobs, they all go to 11. And he goes, oh wow. He's like, just when you're at 10 and you think you're about to go, you can go one higher, go to 11. And Rob Reiner kills it, cock blocks him and kills his bud. Goes, well, why don't you just make 10 the loudest, and that can be the loudest? He just looks at him and goes, but these go to 11. So anytime you hear somebody turn it up to 11, that's a shout out to Spinal Tap. So.
It's like 7-minute abs. Yeah. From is that something about? Was that something about Mary?
Yeah.
Yeah. 7-minute abs.
What's the comedian's name? Oh my god.
Oh god.
He was in Dumb and Dumber too.
I know.
Pull over. Pull over. No, it's a cardigan. But thank you for noticing.
What's his name? Harland.
Harland Williams.
Is it Harland Williams?
Harland Williams.
So his cousin is Kevin Hearn, the piano player for Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh, no shit.
So he had been like on their cruises and stuff that they do. He would do like comedy stuff for them. So he now, what he's doing now? I hear him all the time. He's the voice of Bob on Puppy Dog Pals on Disney Junior, and he created the show, which is a cartoon show. And I hear him all the time. I mean, it's an it's a very recognizable voice, that he has. And he's the creator, and then he's the character of Bob, who's this like oddball inventor who has these two puppies that every time Bob leaves, they can like talk to themselves. But then when you hear it from Bob's point of view, they're just like barking at him.
Right.
It's actually, I mean, listen, when you have to watch Disney Junior, you latch on to the good shows. Otherwise, you're sitting there watching Mirror Royal Detective, which, listen, not a good one. It's not a good one. So anyone out there thinking about it, unless you want to hear some guy overuse a catchphrase, like when The Rock had the what in the blue hell, and he just kept using it again and again and again. It was like the first time was hilarious. And then like by the end of it, it was like, what are you doing? Like, I got this one guy who says soggy samosas all the time. And it's like, and I'm like, you're overusing this. But anyway, right. I told you, I'm
as Cruella Monsoon would say, he went to the well one too many times.
Yep. Would you please? All right,
dude. Speaking of Harland Williams, I fucking popped him once. Me and Mrs.
Punched
Me
him in the face, or
no?
I popped him right on the nose. I sent him to the moon.
Yeah, to the moon, Alice. I like the cartoon of the two astronauts on the moon, and they find Alice face first down on the surface of the moon.
Is that Family Guy?
Look, it's Alice Cramden.
Is that Family Guy or no? Or was that just?
I want to say it was an actual, like a cartoon strip in a newspaper.
Oh, okay.
But you can Google it.
Okay.
Mrs. Me is a big fan of Harland Williams. I like him too. But he came to Philly, and he was at Helium, the comedy club in Center City. And, we sat, and I should have known better. We sat, like right dead center in front of him, like 2 tables deep.
Yeah.
And, like, he's got a weird speech pattern, like, hey, how you doing? And all this stuff. And halfway through the set, he just looks at me, and I got my beard and all this stuff. He's like, look at you. With your beard and everything. I bet you go out in the woods and you like to chop trees, and you can just rip them down with your bare hands. And then he says all this stuff at me. He looks at me and I look Harland Williams dead in the eyes. I go, you want to go to the prom? And he went, do I want to go to the prom? And which got a second laugh from the room. Like I said, you want to go to the prom. The room laughed. He fucking did it. He sold it well. He went, do I want to go to the prom? Actually, yes. And then the crowd popped. So after, most comedians do their set, they do like a little meet and greet. after I went up, hey man, I hope you don't mind. Fucking hit you with the line. He's like, no, it was a great moment. You know, he could have been a wrestler. He's like, oh, that was a great moment. You know, I'm sure he's used to like people just like going, hey, and just, not, interacting.
That's hilarious. I'm excited when we post this episode to have that's going to be our thing. Meanie tells the story of when he invited Harland Williams to the prom.
Oh, you got to please tag him.
I'll tag him. I'll tag him.
And for our Pod Squad members, be like, I can't believe Blue Meanie asked Harland Williams to the prom and he accepted. Just to get people going, what the fuck? And so now they have to listen. So speaking of cartoons, anyone who's listening to this on Monday morning, and of course you're listening to this on our Patreon, patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie, then you're going to get this as soon as we're done. It'll end up on Patreon. But Meanie Toons episode 2 will be available during Monday Night Raw. I think it'll drop at like 8:00. Retweet it. Retweet the hell out of it. Our goal is to get even more views of this one than we had of the other one, which I think on Twitter alone was somewhere in the 60 or 70,000 range. Overall, it was over 100,000 over everything. Incredible. But we want to get that. So we're going to have it on multiple platforms. We want to get we want to get the video going on Twitter. So we're going to have a thread. So on Twitter, you'll be able to see the first, it's like 140 seconds or something like that, right? And like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So you'll be able to have that, and then it'll be a thread. So right below it'll be the rest of it, because I think it's like a 3+ minute episode. But it is a fun one. It's a story that was told here on the show before. The episode is called First Class, and it's which I believe may have been the title of the episode of Mind of the Meanie where you told the story. So yes, it was. Yeah, but I'm excited by it. My brother Fred did a great job. Fred knocked it out of the park again, man. He did He did an excellent job. I got to watch the advanced copy, and we were going back and forth. Well, you like this? Do you like that? Should we do this? Should that? And we're like Hall Notes over here, collaborating. But yeah, dude, it's so good. And I don't want to say anything out loud because I want people to react to the things the same way I did without they feel like they have. Like, I hate saying this is how I react to something before somebody sees it, and then they feel like they have to react the same way to how I reacted to something. But dude, Fred did another amazing job. This is this is so much fun. Who knew when we first started talking about doing this podcast that we'd have cartoons? And we got other stuff in the pipeline that we can't talk about, and we're in a video game together. We're in Retromania. You're ring announcing me and all that good stuff. Did you hear it did you hear me ring announce you? They just posted last night the latest. I will go to that. The latest vlog was the first time you could actually see me in the ring announcing, and then they just posted a thing with of my announcing Warhorse, which was fun. Awesome. So yeah, but they had the thing where I announced. He's fun. Warhorse. I announced the BWO. So hopefully, very cool. Yeah, they said they still have to mix my audio and whatnot. But yeah, I am so excited for this game. It's going to be so cool. Having nothing to do with me, but then to be able to be a part of it. I was watching the vlog because they tagged me in it, hey, you're going to, see Josh Shernoff there and hear him ring announce these guys. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, let me watch this. And by the time we got to it, I was just so sucked into the making of this game that I was like, oh, that's me. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's cool. Because I had gotten so so focused on it. Welcome to my world. Man, so now we got the video game together. We've got cartoons, we've got shirts, we've got pins. Listen, there's still some pins. If you're a Patreon member and you haven't gotten a pin yet, what are you doing? Yeah, I got mine right next to me here. You also have a boat. There they are. Yeah, mine's downstairs. But I'm gonna wear them as pasties. Ouch. Or ooh. Yeah. But no, Patreon people, part of your signing up for Patreon is you get discount codes
So if you haven't gotten them yet, go get them. We're going to have a lot more coming, and you're going to want to have a complete collection. Trust me. But yeah, so we're so excited with things going on. My brother Fred knocked out of the park again, as you said, and just so pumped for everybody to actually get to see it. So many more characters this go around, which is really cool. And we will be tagging all of them. So
hopefully they like it.
Hopefully they retweet it and don't threaten legal action.
No, I think they'll dig it because all the characters that are in this cartoon are, portrayed in a positive light, and I'm the one who.
You're the only one who's not portrayed in a positive light, I think. So.
Yeah, even on my own goddamn cartoon.
Yeah.
No, dude, Fred's a good dude, man. He worked really hard on this, and there's other little Easter eggs in there that we could talk about on once it airs and people week, digest it and stuff like that. Do a little inside the actor studio with it, or directors, whatever. But it was so good. I can't wait for people to see it. I can't wait to please send us feedback. I want to hear what people have to say about it.
Yeah, and just share it. Share it as much as you can, because with the first one, I can't tell you how many times, and like over 100,000 views, but throughout the entirety of those 100,000 views, every time someone would see it, it was like, dude, I didn't know about this. And it's like, okay, I don't know what to do for you. We're trying to put it out there. And look, we live in a world, forgetting anything else going on in the world, strictly professional wrestling, you could live 200 years and never be able to take in the amount of content that comes out in a week as it relates to if you're a wrestling fan. So we get it. I mean, it's tough to get, to get in front of people, but we know people are enjoying it so much that we're like, okay, please just taste this, you're going to love it. You're going to want to come back for more. But yeah.
So that was my, that'll be my wedding's vows. Please taste this. Please just taste this.
Oh man.
And then we came out the other day with the new Mrs. Meanie run-in video.
So cool.
Yeah, she did a great job, man. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah. Hey, you did a great job too. That shirt didn't cut itself.
Well, no, heads up. Like I said, this season right now is Mrs. Meanie's road to WrestleMania, because Halloween's her WrestleMania. And, this whole fucking thing we're going through kind of robbed us of, Halloween. Every year she would come up with design outfits for me and her. And then, the last two Halloweens, we were actually able to do Halloween in two different countries. One being London, England. London's the city. Duh. And then, last
you're American.
Year
you can be ignorant to that stuff. That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
Are you in that United Britain place? Although it is confusing. I will tell you, I'm learning a lot just from our Patreon members as I'm writing down addresses.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning, because like for instance, like London, like, London, but like you find all these other places. Like it's the same way that like people wouldn't know if I said like Doylestown, Pennsylvania, like, if you're not from around, you don't know what the hell that is. So, I grew up in a place called Drescher. So it's like, but unless
you watch the Goldbergs, then you probably know.
Well, then you'll know. Yeah, Goldbergs, you'll know. You're at least going to know Jenkintown, and which is where my grandparents lived.
JTB.
Yep. But no, so I think it's kind of cool. I'm like finding out, really blown away. I didn't even realize how many international Patreon members and listeners we had until I started actually going through the addresses and stuff. I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, I love, traveling and getting to go around the world and see folks and stuff like that. But
now you have a couch to crash on. So
I can Owen Hart it through Europe. Dude. Yeah. Just the fact that I'm sitting here in my living room in South Philly, 10-minute walk from the ECW Arena, and our voices are going all over the world. I'm still blown away. We have a listener in Nicaragua, or if I said that correctly, South America, England.
Right
and,
now.
And when we first started doing this, she showed me the chart. What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Jonathan Chambers just said Dundee, Scotland here. That's one of our Patreon members who's watching this live.
Awesome.
And that's what you're saying. You're 10 minutes from walking distance from the ECW arena. And people are, and this goes all out, but this is going out live as we're talking. And that's the weirdest thing, man. Like,
yeah,
right now to like, I don't know. And being from the United States, I'll hear of like a place like Scotland and I'll just be like, cause I've been to Scotland and I absolutely loved it when I was there. But it's still,
country.
you know, it's this magical place. Anything that's like over, you know, in a different country or something, it's this magic. So like, I'm like, you're in Scotland and you're just spending your time listening to us. Like there must be so many great things to do in Scotland. Go hike up a mountain, which I did. And it was scary, but it was great. Got some Nebraska people, great country.
North and south. I swear to God, it's like, you know, sometimes I forget states are a part of America.
I mean, there are plenty of states I'd like to have removed from America, but
yeah, like, oh yeah, Utah's a state, you know, or that's a place I fly over to go to someplace cool, you know.
Like
just,
Wyoming is one you don't think about, right?
Wyoming, yeah, why not?
No offense,
Wyoming's
no
a state.
offense. I'm sure you think about it if you live there.
Right. Yeah. There's probably somebody in Wyoming punching their fucking MP3 player right now. I love Wyoming.
Well, you know, it's funny because like, I love how they're in Wyoming. They have an MP3 player. That's
yeah. They burned it to a CD and listened to it in a Discman while they walked 2 miles to their fucking PO box to get their mail.
Oh, which by the way, hey,
I'm stupid. Look, I'm stuck on stupid right now.
That's fine. No,
I'm not saying anything to be goofy. Why I'm goofy, but
this was one of those days to begin with, and then 40 minutes of trying to figure out, like, and it was like my brain had like a picture that was almost like, you know, when you're trying to figure out a murder or something, like a mystery, and you've got the chart with all the different strings tacked on from like picture to picture. That's what I had in my brain trying to hold. I'm like, okay,
like Roadcaster,
like Roadcaster. Yeah, exactly. Like we got Roadcaster Pro over here, Ecamm Live over here. Now we're coming through Skype, you know, like I've got all of that in my head and it was like this giant web. My brain is shut off and
in my older years, now that I'm like 47, I've learned to channel my frustration, and like sometimes I'll get, when I was younger, I would get frustrated and angry and just say something mean to somebody. But not that I was going to say here and say anything mean to you, but I was just like,
appreciate it.
Yeah, please God, let's get this fucking show on the road because there's so much I want to talk about. And
yeah. I felt the same way.
Mrs. Meanie's video was fucking phenomenal.
So good. Really good.
Well, that day started off, we did like a mini photo shoot where it was the Blue Meanie, tea party.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
That was incredible. So how much of that was photoshopped versus like a effect on the camera? Like I've seen cameras will have like the effect, or are there just two of you? I mean that, because I didn't find a seam in that photo anywhere.
Right. And that's a credit to her fucking talent. I mean, we've been doing the Meanie Fun Packs on her Etsy shop, which you can find at Pinned for the Win. And now she wants to freshen it up a little bit. She sold X amount of this and, let's, freshen it up and do some stuff. So she wanted to take some photos. And she had this idea for the Blue Meanie doing a tea party. And I was like, and we're trying to figure out, what should we do the tea party of? I was like, well, I just have a tea party with myself. And she went, oh. And then we thought about it. And this was last Sunday. So what we did, she set it up. Like we went around and bought like different things. Like we went to.
If I could just interject one thing.
Sure.
There were little like Easter eggs in there too.
Yeah.
That were so cool. I don't know if you were going to get to it, but I wanted to just talk about the flower pot.
Yeah.
That was your wrestling boot.
My wrestling boot was used as the flower pot. Where
I didn't even catch that. My daughter did. I showed her the picture.
Amazing.
I'm like, you want to see something funny? And she, that was like too cool. Wait, there's 2 Blue Meanies. What's going on? And like, she saw that and she's like, is that a wrestling boot? And I'm like, yes, it is. No, so cool. It was just really cool. Anyway, go back to that. I was just excited.
No, she went and found my boots, and she's like, I'll put a vase in there. We'll put some flowers in there, and we went around. There's this thrift store we like to go to over in Jersey. We call it the Big Thrift Store. And we went over there. We got the plates and all this stuff for like a tea party, a teapot and all the silverware and stuff like that. So essentially, last Sunday we got up. She set up the table outside, and we went out and did a series of photos of me as how I am now, Brian. Brian Blue Meanie. And she would just throw out. She would just say different scenarios. You just said this. And I would, do a reaction photo to that. You did that. I would do a reaction photo to that. And she went, okay, now, go be Meanie. And I literally ran inside and within 10 minutes threw on everything, came back out, did my hair blue, did my makeup, did my paint, and sat across from where I was. And she would call out different high spots to do, like, do this, do that. And I would do it. And it would just be, and, the first set of photos is me reacting to the ones I was just taking. Mm-hmm. And she worked on that through, we came in and I watched the football game. I watched the Eagles stink.
Yep. And
then she put it together. She's like, hey, check this out. I walked over and I just fucking went, holy shit. And it was that, I forget which one she showed me first. It might have been one to me reacting to myself dipping my tea, my cookie in the tea with the Meanie face. And like you said, I couldn't find a seam in there.
No.
The way I didn't watch her make it, but the way she made it looked, I'm like right there with myself.
It is so cool. And anyone who hasn't seen it, go on Meanie's social media, at Blue Meanie BWO, and check that out. It is so cool. You sent it to me and you're like, kind of kayfabe this, keep this between us, but this is something that she's working on. And it was like 2 minutes later, she posted it online, and I was like, oh, good. I'm glad I can show this to people because it is so.
She knew.
Yeah. It's so cool. It really is. Oh, and I just want to say, Lauren, hi. Lauren is waving. I think this might be your first time joining us live. One of our newer Patreon members. Very nice to have you here.
Welcome. Also, if you're on social media, you can find the photos on Mrs. Meanie's page at Tricky McVomit on Twitter. On Instagram, she's vomitus.maximus. So it's just a vomit thing.
Came up with all of these names immediately after you just busted ass next to her. What should my handle be? Oh, I just threw up in my mouth. I'll make this. I'm sorry, Meanie. I didn't mean.
Mrs. Meanie, she's like 13 away. She's 13 folks away from getting like 1,000 followers. So if you can go over and give her a little follow, that'd be awesome.
Oh man, what is this airing Monday? By the end of Monday.
Monday. Yeah,
she better be at 1,000. Come on.
But dude, I'm so proud of her. She downplays it too, which is frustrating because I'll say something to put her over, and she'd be like, "No," like yeah, and then whatever. No, but she's
very talented.
She is, and it was fun to watch her juggle in front of your children and stuff like that.
Oh my God, my daughter has been talking about it since then. She's like, she's just like, maybe I can get some juggling balls, and I keep saying, like, you really have to practice, and she's like, oh, I'll really practice. So it's pretty cool. She is excited. At some point, you guys come back over and we'll have some fun. And Mrs. Meanie said she's going to bring smaller ones for the kids, and my son was just throwing it up in the air, and we're just hoping he didn't land on his head, but
he did better than I did.
Yeah, me too.
Because there is an art form to do. For people who haven't seen it, we did a Mrs. Meanie mini run-in where she talked about her juggling and did a video of juggling, and she even left in the botches, the mistakes, just to show.
And they don't even look like mistakes.
Yeah,
like what I mean? Like she sells it well. Or no sells it, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But-
Well, the funny thing, like, she juggles out in our backyard, and one day she was juggling. I guess the neighbors across the alleyway. There's our house in the alley, and there's like 3 little girls looking out the window and watching her juggle, and she didn't know they were there, and they're like, "Can you do the one-handed juggle again?" And she went, "Holy shit, where's that coming from?" And, looked up. I guess the neighbors had kids over, because we never seen these kids before. It was kind of spooky.
They don't even.
But yeah, and she did that for them, and then she's like,
no kids
she's
have
like,
lived there for 75 years, Meanie.
she's like, "Good thing I didn't swear or whatever, But and the cool thing about that video, her juggling video, she uses the BWO theme over top of it. But when she recorded it, she just had the regular radio, and she's reacting to all these different songs. But the way she reacted to these different songs looks like she's reacting to the BWO theme, which is it was
again
a happy accident.
Goes to her editing skills too, which
Yeah.
she started knowing nothing, taught herself how to do it, which is really. I would like to give Mind of the Meanie credit for that, because that's what my brother Fred did as well. Had no idea how to animate anything, and just learn for this. So I like to think that we inspire people while we sit back and ask them to create content for us. Well, we sit here not knowing how to air our show live to our Patreon members. Everyone else is learning and working really hard. But I can't.
We're like, I was figuring out what the fuck was wrong with like that scene in Zoolander when they're trying to get the files out of the fucking computer, and they're just fucking turning into monkeys and smashing the fucking computer.
Yeah. Well, the most, to get back on this for a second, the most infuriating part of this was it's worked for so long the way we had it set up before, and then all of a sudden it just stopped working, which to me,
well, like you said, it's
sabotage.
probably because you're
Sabotage by Meltzer. What?
It's the Melter machine sabotaging.
Yeah.
It's probably, like you said earlier, it's probably because you're wearing the alternative commentary T-shirt. So
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because we had that almost the exact same problem doing the all in or all out.
All out.
All out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I it could be sabotage. You never know.
Could be. Hey, thank you to everyone who checked out So Says Shernoff.
Dude, it was great.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It was a fun show. I had Nick Aldis on, which was good to talk to him. He certainly sounded like he had some stuff to get off his chest. But it was really nice to get to talk to him. That was a cool, I've interviewed Nick. This is maybe the 3rd time. And I'd interviewed him as NWA World Champion before as well. But there was something for my like silly little show that once upon a time had a studio, but now is just here in my home office, to be able to have the reigning NWA World Champion on the show. And I know everybody has people on nowadays and stuff, but still for me, that I was like, that's pretty cool. Like that made me feel accomplished. I felt like, that's something I can hang my hat on, that I was able to interview him on the show. And so I really appreciated him making the time for that. But yeah, I definitely, talking about sabotage, definitely had a word or two with our good friend Dave Meltzer, who hopefully will give us a star rating for Meanie Toons #2.
Well, he actually owes us like 2 different ones now, because it's it's the second Meanie Toons.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're thinking to yourself, oh man, Josh probably learned his lesson and definitely isn't going to tweet at him. He's already been blocked on one account. Well, you don't know me, because I am going to tweet at him from any account I have until he gives us a star rating. I don't care if it's negative stars, like a meanie match. I am going to get that star rating.
Fucking earn that block, motherfucker. Why did Blue Meanie block Josh Shernoff? Fucking around.
Oh man.
We the next Meanie Toons will have a photo of the Tokyo Dome in it or something.
We gotta do something to get it over.
Yeah, that'll have to be the thumbnail. Who'll be like, "Ooh, what's this? Ah, fuck, they foiled again." Meanie and Shernoff. Negative.
You just
stars.
said the next Meanie Toons, and Fred just had a panic attack.
His head just exploded like the guy in fucking Scanners.
He's like, I thought this was it. That's why I sent him the thing on IMDb, and it's like season 1, episode 2, and I think that was like enough to be like season 1.
Season.
Do you have to break it into seasons? It's like, well, that's just IMDb, but still, yeah. No worries. Season 1's gonna have 15 to 30 episodes, and season 2. I don't know what constitute. Like, I don't know what is gonna constitute a season 1 or season 2. I guess maybe if we have one in 2021, that'll be season 2.
It annoys me when WWE does that shit. They go, the season premiere of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, season premiere, nothing's different.
Yeah. It's like, why? I can see, like, saying season premiere the day, the first Monday after New Year's. Yeah. Your season could be from January 1st all the way through to New Year's Eve. You could call that a season.
Yeah.
But, like, where's the cliffhanger? Where's the... the summer off where you go, oh, hey, okay, I'll see him again in a couple months. It's like, no,
there's no break. And I definitely want to talk more about how there's no break. But first, Meanie, I wanted to just talk about our Patreon.
Yes.
Like what you hear on Mind of the Meanie? Then come join us over at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie and become an official member of the Pod Squad. We have exclusive merch, monthly watch-alongs voted by you. Plus, you get to watch every episode of Mind of the Meanie live.
It's like Fight Club, except we talk about it. And if you want to be a super secret Pod Squad member, come join us on Patreon.
And aside from everything I mentioned before, you also get 20% off all of your merchandise over at ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. And there's just so much more. So head on over to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie, check out everything we have to offer, and become an official Pod Squad member today.
Say hello to the Pod Squad, man.
So how'd you like that? That was my Jericho.
That was pretty cool.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's how we're streamlining. We have our commercials that are in here now that are just pre-recorded from last week. We'll update them every 6 months or a year or so. Yeah. But yeah, I've been waiting for an opportunity.
Keep this shit show on a fucking schedule.
Devin said that he really enjoyed the show. He binge-watched 4 or 5 episodes of So Says Shernoff last night. Well, which one was it, Devin? 4 or 5? I'm kidding. No, thank you so much. I appreciate that. To me, it's a compliment. If you got through one and said to yourself, I want to watch more of this, that's pretty good. So, no, thank you so much. What else is going on, Meanie? I feel like I'm such like as my good friend Wade Barrett used to say when it was like really late at night and we were like late night drives, he would just be like, "Man, you're getting cheeky." That's what he would say. When I would start getting like this, he'd be like, "Oh man, you're getting really cheeky. You're cheeky." I think he called me a cheeky monkey at one point.
There used to be a store called that somewhere.
Yeah.
The Cheeky Monkey. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, those fucking road trips. You going there, you're fine, but on the way home and you're fucking tired and you're just like
beat up and yeah.
If
you're me, you just did the job. So,
Yeah, the first part of a trip's always fun. Going home sucks because that the fun's about to be over and you're back to real life. But yeah, or you just get punch drunk on the ride home, and everything's funny. Just like not even the most remotely thing that you would just think is funny, just becomes funny because you're so tired. And stuff like, ooh, excuse me, what was that?
It's a seltzer kiss right there.
Yeah, a little seltzer kiss.
Bless you.
Yeah, that Dragonberry is pretty good.
Yeah, I kept meaning to ask you. So, what do you think? A Wegmans seltzer?
Dude, we left Wegmans with like $30 worth of seltzer.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well,
I hope they had restocked because I was there shortly before and it was like empty.
Remember? I tried. Well, no, they were fully stocked.
Okay, very good.
But they also had that one brand that I brought back from Connecticut that had the half lemon, half iced tea seltzer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's there, which I
almost got
to tell
that.
you, but
the Wegmans one's cheaper. So
Wegman, everything Wegman brand was like, whole case was like $3. I was like, really?
It was really, Yeah.
How do they make money on it? I don't get it. It's, but hey.
I mean, in fairness, it's water. So
True.
I don't think their overhead is that high, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we grabbed a whole bunch. They even had like a ginger seltzer, like ginger ale seltzer.
I haven't tried that yet, and I don't know why. Because you know
It's
what?
good.
I didn't think about ginger ale until you just said that right now. I was like, ginger? I don't know if I want that. Holy crap. It's ginger ale. Of course I should get that.
I'm a ginger ale mark.
Yeah.
Just going back to my childhood, anytime I was sick and being home from school, it was chicken noodle soup and ginger ale. It was supposed to, heal everything, Oh, you got a bullet wound here? Some chicken noodle soup and a ginger ale. My grandmom. But yeah, dude.
How many bullet wounds were you coming home with?
What's that?
How many bullet wounds were you coming home with?
Not too many. But, I was fortunate. I was fishing for something funny and nothing was biting.
No,
but
sometimes.
Actually, I'm going to open up another one we got. I got the black cherry vanilla.
Ooh, let me know what you think of that.
I'm going to crack that. Yeah, because
I've had that before, I think. It was good. Oh,
actually, hold on. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Do you think they have a chance of I mean, I know they don't want to ruin their streak by winning.
Fuck.
This Meanie takes a sip.
Very nice.
Nice. I noticed you sniffing the
dude, the dragon fruit berry smells really good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Mrs. Meanie chuckles from upstairs, and that doesn't constitute a run-in yet. But, well, here's the thing: we left your house, and she's like, "Let's go to Wegmans." I was like, oh, "Fuck yeah, when in Rome." Yeah, this smells really good. The dragon fruit. That's why I kept sniffing it.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. Let me see if this has a scent. It smells like vanilla. Smells great. She was like, "Look, let's go to Wegmans," and we fuck it, yeah, let's go, because like Philly's taxes. I mean, we have a beverage tax, and seltzer doesn't fall under the beverage tax, but just the tax alone, we're 8%. I wanted root beer. And Mrs. Meanie went, hold on.
Mind of the Meanie, Mrs. Meanie round and Tracy Roots got something to say. Hey, hey, hey.
I heard her, so it counts.
You heard her, so it counts.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that so she can hear it because she's upstairs doing whatever. Yeah, we saw the Wegmans seltzer wall, and I knelt down before Excelsior, just I mean yeah, I think
big.
Wegmans is going to be getting a oh here comes the running. Hold on.
Probably look terrible. Can you move some of those things?
Yeah.
Oh, hey. So,
Hello.
So I would like to work on a seltzer review. Not so much a live taste test, but I want to do a seltzer review with the Blue Meanie on my show.
That would be awesome.
On your channel.
Right? So we loaded up on a ton of different flavors. I don't want to do too many store brand, but that ginger one is the ginger one for me is number one. What did you get?
I did the
Can I try it? Is it
no,
did you drink it all?
Yeah, I drank all that one. I'm 2 seltzers deep right now.
Oh. Is that a t-shirt? Yeah. Ew. It's like bubble gum. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Ugh.
More for me, thank you.
Here, take this.
Oh, this is that. Yeah. Sometimes my wife thinks things are too sweet sometimes too.
What's that?
My wife thinks that some of the fruitier ones are a little too sweet for her.
I just don't like gum. I don't like gum. I don't like bubble gum. I don't like. Ugh.
Well, tell the theory.
What?
Why you don't like bubblegum?
Because it's disgusting. I don't know.
And you're breathing in somebody else's breath.
Yeah, because I know I'm breathing. I just imagine somebody's breath with mint leaves flying into my nose, and then I just, I want to throw up. I hate smelling somebody chew it. Ugh.
That's a really good point.
Right.
That's
and
a
then,
fair. That's a fair point.
And like now everybody has to wear masks. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew your disgusting breath was in my face. Like think about it. Like when your breath is scented.
Yeah.
Ew.
It's great. I got a guy who's working on my basement. And whenever he's here, and so it's been a couple of cancellations, but he's been here, and he was like, he was cutting something, and he goes to like blow the sawdust away, but he's wearing a mask, so just straight up like gave like a big like, and into the mask zone thing. I'm like, oh, it's on you. I want to tell you that I took the opportunity now while you were talking to, I paid a lot of attention to the Mrs. Meanie run-in. And while I'm not dressing as the Blue Meanie for Halloween, I kept noticing this Starbucks lady on my cup. So I just took the opportunity right now. Yes.
Did you
followed the tutorial. I just so happened to have a black Sharpie and a blue highlighter sitting here. So here it is. What do you think, Meanie?
I'm leaving.
We taught you well.
Thank you.
Taught you well.
Did it?
That yeah. You get an A+.
Thank you.
A+. I was wondering what you're doing. I'm watching you like doodle. I'm like, oh, what's he doing over there?
I was listening. No, I saw it. I was drinking and I just saw. I'm like, oh man, I'm like really putting over this Starbucks logo, and then I'm like, I'm gonna turn that into the Blue Meanie. This is the closest we've gotten to Blue Meanie coffee so far right now.
Yeah,
we're working.
We need to find a coffee company and a seltzer company.
Hey, what are we talking about this episode? I feel like
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. I hope
we got a Yeti seltzer.
Oh, the Yeti.
The Yeti.
Yeah, I was attacked by the Yeti.
I'm so excited to find this in the wild.
Yeah, it's called Yeti Mischief.
There's a Yeti one, a unicorn one, mermaids, and something else.
Like a rainbow or something like that.
Taste the rainbow.
That's the unicorn.
Unicorn, Yeti, dragons.
Dragon. Okay.
And it's okay.
Okay.
It's lightly fruited. It's for children.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, so this is airing on a Monday.
Yes. Your birthday. Happy birthday, Monday.
Yes, that is true. My birthday is on Monday. I was going to, we'll just switch and put over my birthday. That sounds good. Yes, my birthday is on Monday, or today as you're listening to it. I was going to say something about Raw and transition into asking you questions about the Retribution thing, but I'd much rather talk about my birthday. Yeah, I'm going to be, I'm turning 27. And
which is a lie.
Oh, no. I just look, numbers, sometimes they either come out or they don't. I don't know. I can't.
You meltered it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I might be 27, might be 25, might be 37.
Or neither.
But, yeah, what?
Or neither.
Or neither. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be 37. So I'm like, you ever see Pumping Iron?
Yeah.
So you remember the thing where they're having it's Lou Ferrigno and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno's dad, and they're having like breakfast, and they talk about how they're delaying the competition, and Arnold's like, he's like, we're gonna delay the competition, gives you more time, you get the bigger, but then I'll get bigger too, haha, you know. So that's basically how I feel. Like I'm gaining on you age wise.
You got into my coffee,
but you just keep getting older. So no matter how much older I get, you continue to get older. So I'll always be able to feel a little bit better about myself.
Well, there you go. I mean, you're going to catch up to the times where I said, oh, at this age, this, that, and the other thing happened. So, well, I mean, I know what I did for my birthday apocalypse, which was just chill out at home and enjoy company with Mrs. Me. Any plans for your birthday?
I'm going to eat dirt, which, no, legitimately. So every year since, I guess it would be 6th grade would be the first time, because I think it was first discovered in 5th grade at a school. I don't know, whatever. The room mothers were in there, and one of them made dirt out of, it's Oreo cookies and chocolate pudding and all that stuff. Yeah, I said it in a way to get the reaction that I got. So
Yeah.
don't feel bad. That was my intention. Yeah, so I always had my mom make it every year, and now that's instead of a cake, and that's what now my wife makes it, and my kids love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's so we'll do that, and really I'm just gonna hang out with the kids, and I don't like it's you know, you get to a point where like when people are like, what do you want for your birthday? And I'm like, nothing. Like, I'm a grown up, so like if I want something, I probably just bought it already, you know?
Right.
Like it's or you know, or my wife told me I couldn't, but like, you know, I really, that's it. So I don't know. I need a video game system so that I can actually play Retromania when that comes out.
You don't have one?
I've got original Nintendo. I have Super Nintendo. I've got the Wii. We've got all old school systems, which are in a box somewhere. But no, I don't have the time to play any video games, which I was never like a huge video game guy. Like growing up, I was more like an action figure guy than a video game guy. But I still had all of them. I love playing video games. But now, like, I don't, once my kids, like when they're a couple years older and they can start really playing video games, then I can do that with them. But like, they're still younger to the point where like, you can't legitimately play a video game with them, you know? So hopefully at some point we'll be able to get that. And,
when I was a kid, I would play, you know, like the Mario Brothers and stuff like that. And then eventually when the Maddens came out, I would play Madden football all the time, which I'm kind of disappointed with like how Madden's been coming out. It's just like they try to make it do all these other extra things that all these other bells and whistles that, you know, really do nothing for me. So it's like
what type of stuff?
Huh?
Like what type of extra things?
I forget what the mode is called, but like you can make like a dream team and stuff like that. But you got to do all these things to get points, and you can buy players. But you can't take, like, you can make a team of legends, but for a reason you can't take those legends and like put them in the regular game so you can, you know, play a regular season with all these like this dream team stuff and stuff like that. I forget what it's called, but you have to do like certain situational moments in games to get points and stuff like that. And it's just like a grind, and like halfway through it, you're like, man, I could have just played a regular season of Madden and stuff like that.
I was reminiscing the other day about I'm thinking back, this had to have been early 90s. I don't know which football game it would have been. It would have been a Madden game, I believe, but I guess that was really, unless I was playing techno football or whatever the hell that was called. Yeah. No, I remember it was the first one where you could choose to play the game in the snow.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to look that up and see what it looks like, because in my mind, like, I visualize it still today as the coolest thing ever. And like, I don't even want to go back and see what it looked like, because I know I'm going to be disappointed. But my mind as a kid then, I was like, it was just amazing. I'm like, this field is covered in snow. Like, this is incredible. And I always thought in like the wrestling games, that would have bบeen really cool for like an outdoor venue. But like sometimes it could rain, sometimes it could snow. And like, I don't know, I thought it would just kind of be like a neat, like a neat addition to that. But
yeah, in the 90s, like I played Madden on like, what is it, Sega and all those things. And like, I remember going to the video game store to buy it. And like the one year they're like, you could do shoestring catches. Like, you know, the ball's so low you can reach down, bend over, and catch it. And thinking back as a kid, you're looking at that, you're like, wow. Yeah. But now if you watch it, you're like, oh, really? You know, it's just like the way things have progressed so much nowadays.
Yeah, but it's funny still, because you look back at like an NBA Jam, right?
Right.
And like, that's held in such high regard. But if you actually go back and play like the original NBA Jam, like, not a great game, you know, like really not a great game. But the concept behind it. So I think that's kind of the thing, is like, when it's something new that's never been done before. And that's like, to your point, I think these companies are still, they're forever chasing that feeling. But when you get to a point where it's like every year it's like, oh, what's new? It's like, well, this year, this player has 17 beads of sweat coming down at the same time instead of 15. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you reach a point where you're like, okay, what else can we do? Or you can be like WWE with the 2K games where you can just go from getting better, and then just go straight to shit. But
dude, I tried playing those 2K games and I cannot get the hang of them. And it's just like, I held on to maybe one because there's the one they actually have the ECW arena in it. Oh yeah. See, I kept it for that reason, but other than that, I tried playing it, and it's just so frustrating.
To me, like, I was a button masher, and like outside of that, it became too complicated. But like, I love No Mercy is my favorite one of all time. I also love WrestleMania 2000 because you're in it. But I really did like WrestleMania 2000, but No Mercy for whatever reason, I think just fell at the right time. Just when it was in like my fandom. But dude, I would spend all my time doing like creator wrestlers on there and editing people, and you'd try to update people like as they change on television. You'd try and update their look. But yeah, just I don't know. Games are kind of like everybody's really excited for the AEW game at some point, and I say that like nothing's been announced, but they've said that it's something they're working on. They're absolutely going to do. And there's a large part of me that's hoping that they are going to kind of like get that No Mercy engine and just kind of, instead of like, let's get the greatest graphics or the whatever, like, no, like give us kind of that old school feel. Cause in a lot of ways, No Mercy, it was in Japan, but it was WCW NWO World Tour. It was a couple of WCW games. And because AEW is kind of the unofficial relaunch of WCW in so many people's minds, I feel like that could be really cool to kind of have a throwback, and just make it a million times better. But have that kind of graphic and that kind of throwback there, like Retromania,
Yeah. Fucking, I'm looking forward to Retromania coming out. Whatchamacallit, the one thing that's bothering me is like the people are like, oh, this game's never coming out. And they kind of forget that like there's been a pandemic.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an issue. A couple people were catching a cold. Wait, did I say cold? No, I meant a very serious illness that wiped out the entire world. So, bear with them. They're trying their best. And Meanie, I want to keep talking to you about that. But first, I want to play this thing about Retromania.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Retromania Wrestling!
Hey Meanie, do you remember playing some old school wrestling arcade games?
Oh, absolutely, man. I spent many hours in the old arcade as a kid, spending endless quarters for endless hours.
Well, now, guess what? They're back. The old school style wrestling game is back with Retromania Wrestling. Retromania comes to you from Retrosoft Studios, which is a video game development company creating modern games with a retro feel. Retromania Wrestling is the official sequel to the 1991 arcade hit WrestleFest, and it's set to be released for the PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Dude, I've spent so many hours playing the original WrestleFest in the arcade. Now I get to be a part of the official sequel, and that is amazing.
The roster is stacked, from Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, to Tommy Dreamer, Nick Aldis, Colt Cabana, Johnny Retro, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, and so many more. And as you mentioned, the BWO. That's right, all three of you for the first time ever in the same game, the Blue Meanie, Big Stevie Cool, and Hollywood Nova. But there's more. The man announcing all of you to the ring, well, it's this voice you're hearing right now. That's right, Josh Shernoff, me. I will be the official ring announcer of Retromania Wrestling. So go to RetromaniaWrestling.com now and pre-order this game.
Shout out to Mega Man for doing the Retromania theme.
Yeah. And hey, listening to that,
Mega
first of all,
Ran.
game's going to be amazing. Everybody just calm down, wait for it. It's going to be great.
Did you see the controller Mrs. Meanie made for me?
Let's talk about that for a second. Dude, that is so good.
Yeah,
I feel like we're putting Mrs. Meanie over too much. She's gonna get a big head.
Yeah, she's going to
Incredible work.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, well, she's cranking out all these artistic things between doing the Meanie packs and
nothing quite like this.
Yeah,
this right
you're going to
here.
have to frame that Starbucks cup now.
I know. I'm gonna.
Yeah, we're
I'll
doing
put a
the
screen
makeup,
cap
the
out.
Hollow Meanie tutorial and stuff like that.
Yep, there it is. Okay.
Yeah,
Done with that.
but yeah, I mean, she had previously done a controller for me before. It was like more just straight up BWO one, and she did a controller for herself. And I was like, oh man, like her controller is like fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh man, and she could kind of tell that I was like, I wish I had it. And what better excuse than hey, Retromania is coming out.
Yeah,
and she was kind enough to go through and make a controller that was my two loves, pro wrestling and Van Halen, which she did the cartoon version of BWO in the game, and she redid the Eddie Van Halen striped artwork and made that into the background. And I think she
does she
wants
have
to
it?
say something? Yeah, she's
For us to show right here for the.
So, my original controller, I pulled it apart and I painted it, and can we pull this down? Yeah. Thank you. I didn't want to pull down your whole thing. So I pulled it apart, I painted it, I put new buttons in it. I did like the whole 9 with mine. I never took his apart. I just put I got some BWO decals made. Now the new PlayStation's coming out, and I'm like 5 years away from even caring. I cannot afford it, and plus you kind of like to wait until all the glitches are out.
Yeah, definitely.
We went from PlayStation 2 to 4, and it was 10, 15 years in between consoles.
I just want to say, Sean Jones, Patreon member, just wants to say you did a great job on that controller.
Awesome. So I wanted to do mine again. Mine was Lisa Frank Unicorns.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted the girliest thing that I can think of. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for Barbie. I'm obsessed with Barbie for some reason. So I made a Barbie one for myself. And it's very sparkly and I love it.
Nice.
But again, he gets jealous and he's like, do you want to do mine again too? And I was like, all right, fine. So his is all decals, but this time I took his apart as well. And I gave him the new thumbsticks, which is so hard to do. But I just did it. I was like, you know what? Fine. He's like a big toddler. This is why we don't have children. I have a child.
You got one. That's the same thing. We gave a new nightlight to my son.
See?
My daughter has one, and she's just like, oh, that's really nice. I guess I just kind of wish you would have gotten one for me, too. We're like, we got you one. We
See?
know you. Just, yeah, so.
You don't even need it. Stop it.
Yep.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I kind of want one too. So I thought up the Retromania one because, we're not about to have you seen Stevie Richards has a full cabinet?
I mean, he's got a whole.
He's got the whole stand-up arcade game. No, yeah, no thanks. We don't have room in that for that. So he got a controller. There you go. You're done.
I think that's awesome, though. Looks great. And it reminds me old school, back in the day, the stickers. I don't know if they'd come with Nintendo Power or something, and you'd put stickers on the old Nintendo controller.
Magazine stickers?
Yeah. Do you remember those?
No.
How old are you? You're younger than me.
No, we're exactly the same age.
Are we really? How?
But it was my brother that had all of the video game stuff. I would just use it and get yelled at.
Okay. Well, I mean, same thing. My brother had all this stuff too, and I would just use it, and I wouldn't get yelled at. I would just be really bad at it. But
Oh no, I would destroy everything like I touched her.
Oh man.
But anyway, when I took his controller apart, I replaced his trigger springs, and I'm probably speaking Japanese to some listeners, but I did it on camera, and I'm gonna put it on the YouTube channel only because there's no help for that.
Okay.
Any of the controller mod like videos, there's no help for trigger springs.
So here's the fun thing. You're going to do that. It's going to get the most views, the most likes.
Know.
People
I know.
having
And you
nothing,
know what? And I
who
was
don't
like,
even know who the Blue Meanie is. And they're just going to be like,
is this a terrible mistake because I'm inviting strangers in? But like,
oh,
I don't
hey,
care.
we love strangers. It's where I get my best candy.
They're going to be like, why are you bald? You got a weird face. You're stupid. And I'm like, I'm doing this helpful thing just for you.
Well, I'm sure they'll all be a bunch of lookers. So.
Oh, and it's, yeah. Oh, playing video games.
Yeah.
So that's rude. Okay.
That's not, hey.
I don't know why you would say that.
You're not.
But it's only 5 minutes.
You're not
I edited
unattractive
the crap out of
just
it.
because you're playing video games. Okay?
It's my shortest video.
Oh, man.
Handsome people play video games too.
Yes,
Just
we do.
Us ugly ones are just better at it.
It's all that extra time not having to look in a mirror. No.
Actually, I got it right next to me. I'll hold it up for the folks at home.
Yeah.
Patreon.
Ooh. It's nice. It's really, really nice.
Those thumbsticks are pretty sweet, man. They're
Like
silver.
chrome?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We ordered from a couple different places.
Well, I can't wait until mine
Even
arrives.
on the light bar, she put the Eddie Van Halen.
Sweet.
The
Yeah,
stripes.
she did an amazing job. It's really,
And
really
then
cool.
the middle says Retromania.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And who knows? Maybe one day we will convince her to make one for like a giveaway.
Yeah, we could probably do.
I want to show mine.
Oh, here
Show
here
yours.
comes hers. This is for the folks at home.
Yeah, it's good. Some good audio podcasting right here.
Yeah.
Oh, that is nice. That's really nice. Look at those sticks. So that's like a chrome pink with the stickers on top of that too. That's awesome. You got everyone. You got Barbie. Is that Chelsea? Barbie's little sister. Is she on there?
It says bitch.
Yeah, it
says
does.
bitch on it.
She made a little thing for the light bar that says bitch, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It used to say fuck off, but yeah. She toned it down.
Nice.
I might even put fuck off on there. Who knows?
Anything can happen.
In the mind of the meanie.
Yeah. So, hey, to bring things down a bit, I did want to say from listening to the ad that we had for Retromania, made me think of Road Warrior Animal. Just wanted to send condolences to his family. I wanted to make sure we didn't get through the episode without just saying something about him. So, Meanie, do you have any memories, anything that you want to say about him? Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, and I don't know how you wouldn't know, but Road Warrior Animal passed away suddenly at the age of 60 this week. Just one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time, if not from the greatest tag team of all time. And also one of the people I had such a pleasure being able to interact with. I found out he apparently spent some time at a neighboring high school from my high school where I grew up. He actually spent some time in Hatboro when he was younger, and we had some good conversations. He was the first stand-up interview that I ever did at the first StarCast. First time I ever did that, and he was so cool. And I had the opportunity to work with him a couple more times. And just a really, really good dude. And the last thing I just want to say is I have a memory of I had a friend whose dad worked for Prism and took us backstage at the Spectrum back in the day. And this guy comes out wearing a hat. I see some long hair coming down. And he's got a hat on, and so I forget who asked him. Maybe he asked or whatever. He's like, "Do you know who I am?" Because we were like looking at him and everything, and it like took us a minute because without the makeup and the fact that he wore a hat and was covering the mohawk, like took us a second as kids. This was probably back in like 92, maybe something like that. And, but it was Animal, and he was so cool to us. I will never forget that, because he was one of the first wrestlers I ever met, and so cool. And then he started chatting with my dad about Zubaz, because he was selling Zubaz, and gave my dad a pamphlet on it. And it's talking about how he hasn't selling all the NFL teams, all the things, So tomorrow when I'm rocking my Eagles Zubaz, I'll be thinking of Animal. But yeah, just a great guy, and just awful to hear of his passing. But Meanie, anything that you remember or have anything you want to say about him?
Dude, yeah, we were all thrown a curveball. It was like such a shock to hear that World War Animal died. Because he seemed like, he seemed in great spirit, great shape, everything. Last time I believe the last time I saw him was at Icons of Wrestling at the ECW Arena, that convention. And he was always there, and he was always cordial, and watch him interact with the fans and stuff like that. But between putting the spiked shoulder pads on everybody, he was like the last person I would expect to be gone at such a young age, 60, which is 13 years older than me, which blew my mind. But dude, my formative years was the 80s, and the first time I became aware of the Road Warriors was right around the time they first appeared on Pro Wrestling Illustrated. They were the tag team of the year, and it's them wearing the Georgia Championship Wrestling tag belts.
Yep. And
they're underlit, lit from below, so like they're just big menacing figures, and to read about them before I saw them, and you like I said, that was the beauty of the Bill Apter magazines, where you can imagine what they would be like before you got to see them, and you're reading about them and all that stuff, and then when you finally get to see them, they were larger than life, characters. They're live action, I always say wrestling's a live action comic book, but they were perfectly suited for the wrestling business because they were real life comic book characters. But I had more of a interacting with Hawk, but I always got along great with Animal. Everything from, and like you said with the Zubaz, they were innovative in the world of wrestling to where, they had the face paint and the mohawks and the spiked shoulder pads, which he, pretty much made in his own garage. Yeah. And then, they had a friend manufacture them for them. But then like late 80s, the Zubaz pants start becoming like a popular thing. And, all of a sudden people start wearing them. And then you find out, Road Warrior, the Road Warriors and Dan Marino were like the brains behind them. And they're, everybody's wearing. They had different colors, all this good stuff, and it just became like a part of pop culture.
Yeah,
and he passes away, and you just realize like how much of a pop culture staple they were when like everybody from you expect the wrestling community to go, oh, rest in peace. But then LeBron James, of all people, goes, the Road Warriors were my tag team, man. Rest in peace. So cool to be recognized by so many people. But it sucks that you find out all this, that's why I hate, it's a shame that you heap all this praise on people once they're gone.
Well, it's one of the things that I love about all of these conventions. Because you look at that, and it's always such a shame to have that after the fact, right? Because wouldn't it have been so great for him to have heard all of these things? But in a way, he's had years. I mean, he was a staple at so many conventions, and I even had the opportunity to interview him while he was there, signing autographs, doing things like that. I have heard people come up to him and say, "Oh my God, you're the reason I got into wrestling. You're the reason I love tag team wrestling," as Jonathan Chambers right now is saying from our Patreon. So the nice thing about that is I feel like he had that opportunity for so many people to be able to express that. And that's one of these really cool things with the conventions is that these wrestlers who once upon a time before there really were those conventions, they didn't have that. Maybe they faded out into obscurity and wondered if anyone ever even remembered them. But now they get to go to these things and these fans get to go to them and say, like, you were a really important part of my childhood, of my fandom. So I hope that he knew that, and I'm sure that he did. But then on the flip side of it, we always talk about this. There's the human being behind it, where this is a man with a family that he's leaving behind. And it's just so unfortunate. He was away celebrating his anniversary when it happened. And just, my heart goes out to his family and,
my heart definitely goes out to his family. They were on the vacation at a resort. Yep. When he passed.
Everything's saying natural causes, which to me, if I had to jump to a conclusion, would be like a heart attack. I'd have to imagine. And I'm also, thank God they quickly came natural causes, because a wrestler always gets that, stigma or whatever. But the reality is no matter what the cause, it's a tragedy. It's awful. But I just wanted to take a minute to, we'll get back to something, fun and exciting here, but I wanted to take a minute and talk about him.
Yeah. He'll live on. He inspired so many wrestlers. One of the greatest tag teams of all time. And you've done something right when there's plenty of imitators, or knockoffs. When the NWO was the biggest thing in the world, we did the BWO, and then everything faction after that was modeled after the NWO. But with the Road Warriors, they were. There was the Road Warriors, and then there was the Powers of Pain, and then there was Demolition, and then, everybody with the makeup and stuff like that. They have
a whole reaction named after them.
And thank you, Mrs. Meanie.
The Road Warrior Pop.
Reaction.
Yeah, the Road Warrior Pop, which was a legit thing.
Road Warrior Pop.
Initially, it came to fruition where it was kind of like a rib, somebody was ribbing. I forget who it was, either Triple H or Mick. Were like, Animal came back to the locker room and was like, did you hear that pop, the Road Warrior Pop? And then it became like it became a thing. But it was like the Road Warrior Pop was a legit thing. I was fortunate enough to watch them wrestle in different forms as a fan. The first time I got to see him in person, AWA did TV tapings in Atlantic City, and the Road Warriors were there. And when Iron Man hit, you couldn't even hear yourself think.
I saw
and you got the goosebumps and stuff like that.
I saw something on social media, the multiple layers of the pop from when they'd come out to Iron Man.
Yeah. And then, I got to see him at the Philadelphia Civic Center for Crockett. Again, Iron Man hits, and they come and they hit the ring like a tornado. Mm-hmm. It's just like you see it coming. Like if the best thing you say is you see him coming, but there's nothing you can do about it. Yep. When the Road Warriors hit that ring, and then of course I saw him in WWE, and I was fortunate enough to be on shows with them. And again, one of the best tag teams in wrestling history, one of the most decorated tag teams in wrestling history. And it blew my mind when I found out that, Road Warrior Animal was born in Philadelphia. Born in Philly, like you said, he lived near
when I met him at the first Starcast. I guess re-met him because I met him when I was a young kid. But
sure,
I met him and Bill Apter said, he's like, oh yeah, he went to Hatboro Horsham, which is the high school. It's a high school in the league with the high school I went to. We play sports against them, and I have a bunch of friends who went to that school. And I thought Bill was just joking. I was like, I thought he was, and I didn't, and I'm like thinking, okay, I don't really get the joke, but okay. And then he started like telling me, he's like, oh yeah, he's like, my dad worked here, and I was going to school here. I think he was only there 9th grade or something, and then then he moved. But But yeah, that was crazy. I had no idea. Obviously it wasn't like I was around, but but it was still, just really, it was neat. It was neat to know that. I didn't find that out until the first StarCast. But yeah, he spent a lot of time, in the Philly area.
And speaking of Philly and Road Warrior Animal, he was at Legends. I mean, the Icons of Wrestling convention here in Philly. And there's always this moment where, like, we do the convention, and then they break down and set up for Dreamer's House of Hardcore, and Dreamer's kind enough to let me set up a merch table there. Whether he's using me or not, he's given me the privilege of setting up a merchandise table there. So in between the convention and the show, we always hop over to the Oregon Diner to get something to eat, and then we head back for Dreamer's thing. So the one time, it's so surreal. We hop in the car and we're going to Oregon Diner, and I guess whoever brought in Animal for the convention drove him over to the Oregon Diner. And we go to the Oregon Diner, and there in the parking lot, standing in front of a car with this hood up, is Road Warrior Animal, because I guess whoever brought him to the convention was driving him over to the Oregon Diner to get something to eat. And he was having car problems, so there's Road Warrior Animal, like, looking under in full makeup.
You have to say he was in full face paint in broad daylight. That's just awesome. Like checking out the car, and we were pulling in. It was a car full of people, and I was like, "Are we dead? Did we die? Are we dreaming? Like, what planet are we on that this is happening right now?"
It was so surreal to see Road Warrior Animal in full Road Warrior Animal makeup. Looking underneath, Road Warrior Animal, it's like Briscoe Body's auto shop. You're the Briscoe Brothers, except it's Road Warrior Animal looking under the hood of your car.
That's
but
right.
yeah, man, rest in peace, Road Warrior Animal. Yep. My heart, singular, goes out to his brother and his family, his brothers. He had another brother who wrestled I want to say his name was Crash, but I know him. It was something Terminator, something like that. His brothers, his wife, his kids. It was cool watching him and his son bond. His son played for the St. Louis Rams, and there's an awesome photo of Animal in the St. Louis Rams football jersey with the helmet, and his son's painted up like him in awesome. The Road Warriors gear. So my heart goes out to the family and the fans. It really was a sucker punch of sorts, to read that, first thing in the morning.
That is true. Sending our best to his family.
It's like, it's one of the hardest things because, I'm still in disbelief that he's gone, but, he'll live on throughout, and everybody's, through the wrestling community, whether it's, people who still watch VHS tapes to people who trade DVDs and, make their own compilations of, Best of the Road Warriors and stuff like that. And like he said, he'll be in, you got the ring announcement in Retromania, which comes out soon. Cool. And they did a nice, Retromania did a nice tribute to Road Warrior Animal as well. But yeah, man, rest in peace, Road Warrior Animal.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. If you want in on the best wrestling tees in the business, Homage has you covered. All the styling, profiling, limousine riding looks from the rings of yesterday and today in super soft fabric and comfortable fits you can't get enough of.
Yeah, that's right, man. I've been a fan of Homage for years. I've been wearing their shirts for years, everything from pro wrestling to pop culture. And dude, I get so many reactions out and about in the wild when I'm wearing my Dusty Rhodes shirt, or I'm wearing I'm a Funker shirt, or my old school ECW shirt. Homage makes shirts that are comfortable and stylish and definitely retro, which is the thing I've loved about them for years.
Mind of the Meanie listeners, you can use the coupon code MEANIE for 20% off your first purchase at homage.com. That's HOMAGE.com.
Ooh, the homage.com. Freak out! Freak out! Freak out!
All right. Maybe it's time to ask Meanie anything?
Why not? It's time to ask Meanie anything.
All right, Meanie. We have got some
Yes.
questions.
And that's a genuine laugh for every time I hear the thing for Ask Meanie anything. That's a very genuine fucking laugh.
Anthony Camarada asked, does Meanie have any good stories involving the Job Squad? Pin me, pay me.
The whole evolution of the Job Squad was fun, man. It started off as a locker room thing in ECW as a joke. Yeah. I mean, even so, I'm like, Mrs. Meanie just came across a photo where we're, the whole thing with the Job Squad, we'd do the thumbs down, 1, 2, 3 for life. And she was going through my photos because she's doing the Meanie Packs thing, and she found this photo of me, Al, and Axel Rotten all doing the Job Squad thumbs down for a photo shoot for George DeHanis. Shout out to George DeHanis. Great, I'll say a legendary photographer. He's been there for everything, and took photos of everything. And
the George Napolitano of
he is the George DeHanis is the Bill Apter of George Napolitanos of photographers. I even got to laugh out Mrs. Meanie. That's good. Yeah, but so it became a locker room thing, like an inside joke. To the point where, like, we got Job Squad stickers made up and T-shirts that we would only wear in the locker room. Now, if you watch, like, some of Al Snow's matches from ECW, he's got a Job Squad sticker on his boot. He's like, fuck it, I'll just put it on my boot. Mm-hmm. And all the way up to it made its way to WWE, and that was my introduction. That was my foot in the door for WWE, to be a member of the Job Squad and stuff like that. And doing this stuff with Gilbert, where I was his sparkler boy, me and Scorpio, not booked tonight, but you're the sparkler boy for Gilbert. And I've been signing
That's a
so
booking
many.
to me, right?
That counts.
Yeah.
So
hey, you were out there in an arena filled with people who would have dropped anything to run up on that stage and hold a sparkler for Gilbert. So
yeah,
come on, that counts as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely.
I was very fortunate. Actually, I designed some of the shirts for Al for the Job Squad. My favorite one is on our backs since birth, and it's the baby giving the middle fingers.
Yep. You designed that one?
I designed that one. Sweet. I designed the pin me, pay me one, where it says kissing asses in our JOB description, and on the back it says pin me, pay me with the giant exclamation point, which I'm going to take credit for as the SmackDown logo. Because SmackDown was SmackDown with a giant exclamation point. I was like, oh, where'd they get that fucking idea from? Yeah.
Did you happen to mention it to Paul Heyman?
Yeah. No. I tried to keep that one close to the vest.
Yeah.
Well, and the flattering part of that one is Mick Foley wore that shirt a lot, the Pay Me, Pay Me one. And when he won the WWF title against The Rock in Massachusetts, when Stone Cold ran in for the mother of all pops, he was wearing that Pay Me, Pay Me shirt that I designed. And
That's
then
awesome.
A couple months before that, the New Age Outlaws came to the ring, and Road Dogg, it was like Road Dogg was doing a run-in in a cage match somewhere, and he's wearing one of the shirts I designed. And I'm hitting before texting, I call out, I was like, oh my God, he's wearing my shirt. Or no, it was AOL Instant Messenger. That was the pre-texting thing. But yeah, Job Squad was so cool. It was a lot of fun. And we still do like mini reunions here and there. And I still rock my Job Squad shirt. There was another shirt design I pitched to Al back in the day. He didn't do that. I'm going to try to get him to do for Collar and Elbow because I want it for myself.
Talk about it.
Hey, I won't talk about it. I don't want to jinx it in case it doesn't happen, and I don't want anybody steal the idea. I won't mention it to Paul Heyman or anything. So, Job Squad, right up there with the BWO. I mean, it was short-lived as a in-ring gimmick, but it was like a mentality amongst some of the boys in the locker room. So,
and
I love it.
Lasting for sure. I mean, it's something people still talk about. You don't see people talking about the union very much. So it's definitely, it may have been short-lived, but it definitely, people remember it.
Hey, Job Squad was the main feud with Vince McMahon, but right before DX, formed and started taking on the evil Mr. McMahon. So it was definitely it was fun. It was great.
Travis on here has a question. What are your thoughts on wrestler's court? To someone who has never been in the locker room, it sounds kind of silly. Ever have to testify in wrestler's court?
Dude, I'm so glad that question was asked. I was just thinking about wrestler's court the other day. I wasn't. Thank God they didn't bring me up on wrestler's court for the first class ticket, which you'll see in mine and the Meanie Toons this Monday, or if you're a Patreon member today.
Yep.
I easily could have been brought to wrestler's court on my first weekend in the WWE, but yeah, I've heard plenty of stories of wrestler's court, and there was one up in Canada. I remember this because it was in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and it was the night the Hart stopped by, and Brett came by, like post Montreal Screwjob. I don't know if he was in WCW yet, or he's in the process of going to WCW.
Oh wow!
And it was the first night Brett and Hebner were in the same building, and I was in the locker room, and Hebner came into the locker room. He's like, I just made peace with Brett, and it was at this show in Calgary.
Wow.
But also that night
did you see Brett that night?
I saw Brett. I hung out with all the Hearts.
What year would this have been?
It had to be 99. It was post my first being released and then being brought back kind of thing.
Pre-Owen, of course, though. Pre-Owen.
Oh, it's pre. Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, pre-Owen. Well,
I can't.
Don't hold me to that. I can look. I'll have to look up the date.
But again, this was a house show.
It was a house show.
Yeah,
not TV.
I mean that's the thing. He wasn't there for TV. He wasn't seeing Vince. He wasn't. I think he just genuinely was there to see his friends. Right.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. And there's I met so many of the Hart kids who I've actually gone to become friends with now. On mostly through social media, but I got to meet so many different people. I met all the Hart brothers. I met Diana. Brett was there. So this might have been post Owen. I don't know. I wish I knew. I feel like I'm cheating.
Well, again, I mean, even if it was post Owen, this wasn't like because that might shock people from a story standpoint of how the Hearts and WWE
I'm going to
were.
say this was pre Owen. I'm going to say,
but either way, just to be clear with this was obviously a lot of people. You always hear like, oh, so-and-so is backstage at SmackDown or backstage at Raw or whatever. But a lot of what that is, especially with house shows, you'll have these people. They're not there to talk business. They're literally, this is the one place where all of their friends they have not seen in a long time or whatever are all in this one area. So they'll get together. And because of who they are, they can, they're allowed back there and stuff. But always ask permission.
Yeah. Like I said, I went to SmackDown, but I asked permission.
Yep.
Dude, I heard stories of guys just showing up and they're like, please leave. Yeah. Because they didn't go through the proper channels or whatever. But back to the wrestler's court. This was in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Thank you,
as they said.
Mr. Storm.
Yes. If I could be serious for a moment. A funny story about Lance Storm. I left DCW and went to WWE. And I was licensed in New York, so whenever they were wrestled in New York, they told him to tell the commission, "You're Brian Heffron tonight." So, what's your name? Brian Heffron. Okay, I was on the list for the commission or whatever. I don't know if I should be saying that, but oh well, fuck it. Oh, hold on, Mrs. Meanie.
Mute your microphone.
Yeah, I got the sniffles because allergy season.
My allergies are killing me. I ran out of allergy medication. I just picked some up.
I took my
and
allergy meds too.
I forgot to take mine today. I'm
taking the Bobo brand, the Dollar General brand. They're like the fake Gucci purse of fucking allergy meds. But
as long as it holds your wallet, man. You're good.
I'm a wrestler. I'm cheap. No. But this one night we did a wrestler's court. And they pulled, somebody came to me, hey, wrestler's court tonight. This is what it's about. Don't say anything. and it was basically a rib on Test. They were ribbing Test.
Okay.
But he was unaware of the rib. Like,
Well, sure. I mean, it's
so I forget
rib.
who it was. There was a plaintiff and a defendant. I want to say the plaintiff might have been JBL and or no. Triple H might have been the plaintiff and JBL might have been the defendant.
Mhm.
And the whole rib of it, and of course, Undertaker was the judge, and the whole thing of this wrestler's court, and they're going back and forth. They're being very vague over who owns the rights to, Test being their lackey. And they didn't say his name, or they didn't say, where they're like, they're going back and forth. I know I'm not doing it any fucking justice, but they're going back and forth a good 10 minutes arguing about this person and not who he should ride with, and then who he owes trans to and all this stuff. And they said one thing, and all of a sudden out of nowhere you hear Tess go, "Oh, fuck you guys. This is about me." And the whole room of fucking erupts in laughter because it just became a rib of Triple H versus JBL, and then Tess being a lackey to somebody.
a pawn between the two of them.
And it was then between the two of them talk about Test, and Undertaker's being very serious as the judge and stuff like that, and listening to the case and stuff like that. But I've heard other instances of wrestlers' court where it was Al Snow and Bob Holly got brought up on charges because they accidentally left Al Snow and Mick Foley got brought up on charges for accidentally abandoning Bob Holly in a town. They were riding together, and Al and Mick are big amusement park aficionados, and they were going off to this amusement park, and instead go back to the hotel to pick up Bob Holly, go to the building or the next town. They totally left him, so Bob had to get a rental car and travel into the next town. And then once the boys found out, they pulled him in wrestler's court. And the best thing you can do when you're in wrestler's court is be as remorseful as possible, before you get held in contempt. And
So, I mean, was wrestler's court, was there ever like a serious wrestler's court, or was it always just kind of like a playful ribbing type thing?
Well, I mean, that instance was kind of serious because, you don't leave a guy behind in the town. So I think the penance for that one was they had to, Bob Holly was riding with them and he owed them no trans. They took care of his trans. They took care of his meals. They took care of his hotel for the next couple tours or whatever, stuff like that. And then there was, I forget what the Hardys were brought up on charges, and I forget what it was, but the plaintiff, who I forget, I'm shitty at telling these fucking stories, but the plaintiff.
At least we don't have a podcast that's based purely on that.
Yeah, or doing cartoons and stuff like that. But so, there was a plaintiff against the Hardys. I forget what the charges were. But when it came up for the Hardys to plead their case, they walked over to the Undertaker with a brown paper bag, put a bottle of Jack Daniels on the table, and said, "We rest our case." And Undertaker went, "Case dismissed." So, just playing to the judge, of sorts. So, wrestler's court was
don't
fun.
try that in a real court of law.
No, especially if it's a DUI case. But
so Jonathan Chambers has a question. What is your opinion on Rhino? For me, always one of my favorite wrestlers and such a believable guy. I don't doubt he could kick my ass. Well, I second that. I don't doubt he could kick my ass either.
Yeah.
Opinions, thoughts on Rhino?
Rhino's great, man. I wrestled him on his first ever show.
Really?
I was on his first ever show, pre-Blue Meanie. I was Zebra Crab, Brian Rollins. It was for Scott Demores.
Get
Scott Demores.
Get that Zebra Kid merchandise over at ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie BWO.
Oh, absolutely. It was Scott Demores Border Championship Wrestling in Windsor, Ontario. And that's the show I wrestled Johnny Canine / Bruiser Bedlam, where he just beat the shit out of me. And it was actually worse than the fucking JBL thing, but well,
if you're lucky, maybe people will start talking about that again for the next 15 years.
Please,
Was there? Quick. Take a quick turn down this back street here. What did he do? Because you mentioned before that he beat the crap out of you, but I didn't know it was like. I thought it was like beat you up, like a rough match. I didn't know. He, like, really
it wasn't like beat up, but like I was in the wrong.
Okay.
On this, where I went up to him, I was like, I made the rookie mistake of suggesting things. Instead of going, hey, I'm Brian, whatever you want to do, I'm all ears. I went, hey, can I do this thing? Oh yeah, buddy. Okay, bro. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Yeah. All right, bro. How Johnny is. And then we go out in the ring, and it was just like, ugh. Like, it wasn't that bad.
Did you get your stuff in?
No.
Okay.
And it was at like this Greek community center, and throws me out of the ring, grabs a chair, and he grabs one of those fucking like cafeteria chairs where it's bent plastic. This like it's one solid chair, like almost like a McDonald's chair, like back in the day. Hits me with that, and it felt like he hit me so hard on my back, it just shattered, and part of it like hit the back of my head, gigged the back of my head, and all this stuff. Get in the ring, he throws me back in, pins me 1, 2, 3. As soon as I go through the curtain, he's there. Hey, buddy, sorry, it was a little rough with you there, with the chair and all this other thing. I was like, oh no, I didn't complain, I didn't say anything. I was like, thank you for the match, sir, and all this stuff. So flash forward a couple months later, I see him at a Midwest Territorial Wrestling show for Gary Warncheck, and he saw me. He was like, "Hey, buddy, come here," and he got me put on the show. He told the get promoter, "Hey, it's my boy Brian, put him on the show." Blah blah blah, and he felt so bad. He got me booked on the next time he saw him.
He probably realized he got a little carried away. But
the guy didn't know his own strength. The guy held a world record for behind the neck bench pressing and stuff like that. So, but he was strong. And again, hopefully, Dark Side of the Ring does a story on him. The guy literally blew up a police station.
Yeah, we've talked about that. That doesn't seem.
And was like still out in the streets afterwards or something like that. Something crazy. Greg Oliver over at Slam Wrestling did an article on him, which is worth reading. If you go over to Slam or Google Bruiser Bedlam, Johnny Canine, Slam Wrestling. So,
but back to Rhino. So Rhino was on that first show.
Oh, Rhino was on the very first show.
Big Terry. What was his? Who was he at that point?
What's his first real name?
Is his name Terry? I don't.
Terry. He wrestled as Terry Richards.
Yeah, was that right?
And he's Terry Richards. And then I did that show. I moved back home, and I came back to Detroit. I was wrestling for Machine Gun Kelly, the wrestler, not the rapper. In Michigan, he had Great Lakes Wrestling.
Okay.
And he brought me in, and I started tagging with my first ever opponent, Geza Coleman, who used to wrestle as Kodiak. He was trained by the Malenkos, which is odd because I almost went to the Malenkos, and we wound up tagging. And I forget. We tagged as this tag team called the Bomb Squad, which we were kind of trying to do like a Public Enemy thing, the Bomb Squad, like we're dropping bombs on people because we did we're big guys and we're doing like lighter guy stuff,
sure,
moonsaults and all stuff. And we came back and I wrestled Rhino when he was Terry Richards, and he was just this young kid. And the match is on tape somewhere. If you can find tape traders for Michigan Wrestling or whatever. But I was on that show. And I wrestled Rhino. And then throughout the years, I started seeing Rhino because he started doing TVs for WCW. You know, he was on WCW Saturday Night doing jobs and stuff like that. And then, like, full circle, he comes to ECW. And I had a match with him in Virginia for ECW. And the guy's, like, ungodly strong and has a great engine, great machine as far as wrestling in the ring and stuff like that. And, yeah, just a good dude all around. And I'm glad to see he's still around. He was doing stuff for, former WWF, it was, first he was ECW champion, and then, WWE had a run with Heath Slater as a tag champion.
Yeah.
And now they're doing stuff in Impact. So it's good to see he's still doing stuff like that. So, yeah, Rhino's always been a great dude, strong dude, great all around, just a good dude. I did a show the weekend of Great American Bash where the BWO wrestled the Mexicools. Night before, I'm rooming with Rhino. They had to shack up to wrestle, but like we were barely there because we were out doing Juggalo stuff with the show and just walking around and taking in the sights. And I was in such a rush leaving to go to. I left. It was right outside Columbus, Ohio, and I had to go to Buffalo, New York, for Great American Bash. And I just drove from Ohio to the thing. I left my fucking bag behind. So Rhino took my bag, and it had my fucking Meanie doll in it, which I was going to use for WWE, the one that's on the shelf from ECW. Mm-hmm. So he made sure my bag got to a mutual friend of ours in A.T. Huck, great referee from the Michigan area who wound up refereeing for ECW for a little bit too. Mm-hmm. And he always refereed Sabu's matches and stuff like that. Great referee, great guy. So for years, A.T. Huck held onto my bag that Rhino got to him, and then I went out and did I did an indie for my boy Steve Goff, who is a proud Patreon subscriber here. Great voice guy. He was running shows. I want to say it was World One Wrestling out in Michigan. And now I finally got my bag back. And that's only because Rhino had.
So what was in this bag? Other than the doll, what was in the bag?
Oh, just my clothes and stuff like that.
So it wasn't like your gear bag? It was just your.
No, it wasn't my gear bag.
Okay.
I was smart enough to. Thank God I remember my gear bag going to.
I was going to say, what happens? You go years without getting your gear bag back. But
yeah, but I got to Buffalo and I had to run out to like the local mall and just buy, business casual to get, because they switched over to business casual because, which is weird. It's being the Blue Meanie wearing business casual and walk into the building, whatever. Yeah. But, that was all through Rhino and stuff like that. Rhino's a great dude.
Question, this one comes from Josh Shernoff from Mind of the Meanie podcast on the MLW Radio Network. You mentioned the Malenkos, how you almost trained with the Malenkos. What, I guess... It's a two-parter here. First question is, what made you go to Al instead of the Malenkos? And the second one is, how do you think your career would have differed from how it was had you been trained by the Malenkos as opposed to being trained by Al?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Dude, I became a huge market of Malenkos on I went to Memphis for a road trip, or a Memphis wrestling tour, and on the tour bus they had a VCR and guys brought tapes, and there was this great match of the Malenkos, Joe and Dean Malenko versus the British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid, David Boy Smith from All Japan. I was like, man, those guys are great, and from there I just became a Malenkos mark, and then they wrestled in WCW, and they did the tag team tournament. It might have been a Pat O'Connor Memorial Cup or something like that, and they were the Russian team or whatever. So I was became a fan, and through the Wrestling Observer, I saw that Malenkos were looking for students, so I wrote to them. I wrote to the Malenkos, but it wasn't the Malenkos that replied. It was this woman, Phyllis Lee.
Phyllis Lee,
good old Phyllis Lee, who is in Meanie Toons, the very first Meanie Toons.
Yes.
She wrote back, and we just had this, back and forth. We were, pen pals, and then we started talking on the phone, and she was, seeing, okay, when you coming down and all this stuff. And we were having a conversation. And I was like, yeah. She was saying, and you can live in Tampa. And for like a one-room efficiency, it was like $600 or $700 just for like a room, not like a house or apartment, just a room. Like, man, that's kind of stiff. I was like, yeah, let me think about it. And it sucked. The thing that sucked is I already sent the tuition in. So, but she's like, well, there's this other school. There's Al Snow in Ohio. Same tuition, but you would live in the actual school, and it's like $150 a month. And I'm living in the school.
Yeah. I
was like, well, that's kind of a no-brainer. And I started hearing about Al around that time with his feud with Sabu. It was picking up on in the newsletters and the tape trading scene. And just that started happening. And then from there, I was like, fuck it, I'll go to the Al Snows, And they, no slight against the Malenkos, but like things happen for a reason. It's like that movie Sliding Doors, So Gwyneth Paltrow, they show, she's coming home from work, and in one scene she makes the train, and the other one she misses the train. If she made the train, she would have gone home and caught her husband cheating on her, and she wouldn't have, and her marriage would have went a totally separate way. So if I would have went to Malenko's, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Geza went there, and he said Geza did great, and he trained there, and he was a great worker and all that stuff. I don't know where his career, I don't know where, his career was good around, the Michigan Indies and stuff like that. And, our careers kind of took the same path where we're wrestling on the same shows in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what it's like I said, it was amazing we end up tagging together. But, I don't know. I honestly don't know where I would have been if it hadn't been for Al. Because through Al, I, became familiar with, Sabu became familiar with me, started booking me. And then Sabu started booking Paul Heyman and Dreamer and Taz on his shows. And when I started showing up to ECW, instead of going, hey, get the fuck out of here, they're like, oh, you're Sabu's guy. Right. So I had that familiarity within the ECW locker room even before I got there. So,
and then, of course, you have just your relationship in real life with Al.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have, because even if you'd gotten to know him in wrestling, I can't imagine it would have been the same type of relationship as the time you guys spent together on the road and in the school and.
And not only did I get a professional bond with him, I had a personal bond with him before my professionally being bonded with him. That was that was me going away to college, and being away from my family and finding out my grandfather was sick with cancer because of asbestosis, and he was there for me, and then I was with him the night my grandfather died. My grandfather was in the hospital in Philly, and we had come back east for the NWA title tournament, which Al was in. The night before, we were in Pleasantville, New Jersey. It was the night before the NWA tournament. It was all Smoky Mountain guys and Al and stuff like that. And before the show, we got to the show early, and I grabbed Jason Campbell's car, who I had not yet destroyed yet. It's like, hey, man, let me run home for like 10 minutes, because Pleasantville, New Jersey is like 5 miles from Philly. Mm-hmm. I mean, from Atlantic City, where my folks were. I ran home, saw my grandma, saw my sister, saw my mom, had like a quick bite to eat, and then went, booked it back to Pleasantville to catch the rest of the show. And the crazy thing is, we're driving from Pleasantville to Cherry Hill, where the hotel was going to be, where the hotel was. And in that period of seeing my folks, going back to the show, watching the show, driving back to Cherry Hill, going to the hotel lobby, and they said, there's a message, we get in the room, there's a light saying there's a message for you. And, there's a message at the counter for Brian. Okay. So I walk from the room to the thing, and they, I find, I call home and find out my grandfather passed in that hour, a couple hours.
He was in the hospital.
He was in the hospital with cancer because of he worked 40 years, or not, maybe 30 years in a chemical plant in Gloucester City. Initially it was called Harshaw Chemical, and then it became AmSpec. But Gloucester was like any town you see from any movie, small town.
Mm-hmm.
The chemical plant, guys walking to work, and you see the smokestack in the background, stuff like that. He worked there for 30 years, until he retired, and we moved to Atlantic City. And then when living in Atlantic City, he started having issues where he would get like a pain down his arm and shortness of breath, and like this Hercules of a man. He was a superhero to me to watch him get sick. It's like the Foo Fighters song, "There Goes My Hero, He's Ordinary." I was like, fuck, fucking hit me. So, when I found out my grandfather had passed, Al, I kind of like hit it pretty well. I was like, driving home, and there'd be times where, I'd have to turn my head, act like I was looking out the window because I was fucking bawling my eyes out and shit, But I got, fuck, we had to, go back. We had to drive from, my car was in Ohio, so I couldn't just stay. So I had to drive 13 hours back to Lima from Cherry Hill. And then the next morning I woke up, drove 13 hours back to Atlantic City so I could be there for the funeral, help make arrangements on this, that, and the other thing. But I went to the funeral, and there was a funeral wreath from Al at my grandfather's funeral. Wow. So I have that bond with him where he was there for me when my grandfather passed, when my grandmother passed, when my mom passed, and his kids were there for me, being, first kid, being a kid away from home, like I said before, they made Easter baskets, and, 4th of July, I went to the park with him and his parents and watched the fireworks, and I got to know Al's dad, which is awesome. One time, Al brought his dad on the road on a loop of Florida, and his dad was great. And like the one night, I'm listening to Jerry Lawler in the locker room talk about the movie American Beauty, and he's talking about this one scene that was actually, I forget what scene it was, but he's telling it sounds like the funniest fucking scene in the world, and you're thinking American Beauty is going to be like this comedy movie instead of this dark fucking movie where Kevin Spacey's trying to fall in love with an underage girl and stuff like that. So I was like, oh man, that scene sounds funny. So me, Al, and his father are like, oh, let's go to the movies. It was like a matinee show we did, and we had hours to kill. We're like, oh, let's go. I pitched it. I was like, oh, Lawler told this story is so funny, blah 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 blah. And we go to the movie, I'm watching. I'm like, not one joke was fucking told. I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I'm afraid to like look to my right to look at Al and his dad. Like where's the fucking joke spot? Meanie. But yeah, they wanted to go see this other. I forget what was out at the same time as American Beauty, but they wanted to go see that, and I talked to them. I said, let's go watch this. And there was a time like the South Park movie was out. And, me and Al again were on the road. We had hours to kill before a show. I was like, he's like, my son Jake wants to go see the fucking South Park movie. I was like, I said, oh man, I seen it. It's fucking hysterical. Let's go watch it. And he's thinking we're going to watch a fucking cartoon, right?
So Al didn't know that South Park was.
Oh, I'm sure he had an idea, but like the movie went like above and beyond what they couldn't do on TV. With all this other stuff. So halfway through the movie, I look over to Al, and he's like looking at the screen like, it's like, I cannot let my son watch this movie,
But his son wasn't there, right? He wasn't.
No, his son wasn't there. Okay, he was pre-screening it
to
see whether, because his son was maybe 10 at the time or whatever.
Yeah.
Jake. Well, Jake is fucking huge now. He's fucking strong as a fucking ox. Oh, man. Bigger to me now. But
really,
fucking, he's like, his son reminds me of Terry Gordy in that he's like that big and that strong. Just
what does he do?
Farm boy strong.
What does he do? Like,
what's that?
What's he do? Like, what's he
now? I think he works at a like a plant where they melt. I think he builds cars.
Never wanted to wrestle.
I don't know. I know his daughter, Brittany.
Brittany. I've met Brittany before. I'd never met his son.
She's awesome. Her husband's a wrestler, I believe, but I don't think any of the kids wanted to get into wrestling. Al had a half brother through, like, I don't know if it was his mom or father or whatever. I don't know. He had a half brother named Khan, Khan. And he got into wrestling for a little bit, and he was actually pretty good. I don't know what happened, from there on out. Like he had a good run where he was wrestling on the indies in Ohio, but maybe real life took over. Some people get into wrestling, and then real life gets in the way, and then you realize you have to, responsibilities and get a shoot job.
Yep.
But some people don't. Some people hang on to the thing, they Uncle Rico it, where like they're 40 years old. Man, I could throw a football over that fucking mountain. Man, one day, I'm 50. Oh man, I'm going to get signed by the WWE. It's like, buddy, you're just, wasn't to be,
Last question here. Jonathan Chambers says, I'll ask another question. Thoughts on the obviously amazing Retribution storyline? And obviously, that's sarcasm, because it's garbage. But I am curious. We've had some.
I got my theory, but
you want to lay it on me. I mean, I've talked about before, and I've even said on social media, like, it doesn't make sense. And one of them, I don't know his name, Slapjack or whatever one of them, or
like I said,
T-Bone.
my Retribution name is Mud Flaps.
Yeah, I saw that. But no, I looked at it and he posted something on now they're social media trolls is what they are, and it was something like how the WWE signed them to, because Dave LaGreca was like, this doesn't make any sense. So he responds to Dave LaGreca saying something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, but that the WWE realized it was cheaper to give them contracts than to keep having to pay for the security that they were beating up every week. And now that they're signed, their goal is to destroy their employer, WWE. I'm looking at this and I'm like, look, A, for effort of trying to, this is the dumbest storyline. It's been stupid from day one when you had these people running in during a pandemic. There is no way. Everybody, all you're talking about is how everybody has to be tested. And that we've talked about this on the show before. The real concern, the real fear here was the Retribution was bringing COVID-19 to the WWE roster. Like,
right.
It is, though it was ill-timed, ill-executed. I just think it looks. I actually thought their looks were kind of cool. With the most recent when they started wearing like the makeup and stuff. I'm like, all right, that's kind of neat, and presented in a different fashion could be kind of cool.
Right.
But to me, it's like you can try and explain it away all you want. The more you're explaining it, the more difficult it is for me to suspend any disbelief whatsoever. And people go, "What? It's wrestling." I remember I posted something online, and then I promise I'll get to your thoughts on it. Yeah. But I've been wanting to vent on this for a while.
That's fine.
I posted something online about how it makes no sense, and I had all these people like commenting about like, "Oh, well then I guess Stone Cold should have been arrested for dropping Triple H's car off of a forklift, and I guess the Undertaker should have been arrested for." And I'm like, that was a stupid storyline. Like, I know that was like a great image of dropping the car that you were able to put on the Raw anniversary shows, but I remember watching as a fan going, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen." Like, unless you're writing Triple H off for the next 2 years, and no, you didn't. He showed up the next night with barely a scratch on him.
The hot shotting.
Yeah, it was so stupid. I'm like, I remember when the NWO ran the whatever it was, or they ran the
18-wheeler into a tour bus or something.
Whatever it was they did, and The Rock was in the thing, and they and I remember just thinking to myself, so stupid. Anytime there was any camera fixed in the car when you didn't know something was going to happen. It was something like Shane McMahon. Like, I don't know if AJ Styles threw Shane's head or Shane threw AJ's head. I don't even remember. Through like the window. And at first I'm like, all right, it's kind of badass. And they're like, let's take another look. And they're showing an angle from the camera inside the car. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, and not even an explanation of like so-and-so set it up because they wanted, you know, to be able to revel in the destruction or something. Like, I look at it and I'm like, this is just stupid. And if you were watching this on a regular television show, you would be like, nope. Not watching this crap. This is horrible.
Well, that's why I always hate the fucking thing where they're talking about somebody in front of a camera as if the person's not going to hear it.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
So what's your thought and theory here?
No, dude, my fucking theory is this is just a break glass in a case of emergency situation due to COVID. You know, I think. And this is just opinion. I'm not saying this is a great idea or whatever, but I think they're running out of fucking people on the roster to COVID, and they've garnered they've gathered up these random folks and made this gimmick to where they could come and maybe do this retribution thing, and then, you know, once people start healing up and coming back from the COVID or whatever stuff like that, they'll go back because it's basically, you know, the folks from NXT. Under mask, and maybe it's Mia Yim and Dijakovic or whatever, under these gimmicks to where this is going to be like a temporary thing until, like, hopefully the world heals itself and more people can come back to work for WWE and stuff like that, and then they'll ditch the retribution thing and just go back to their regular gimmicks over in NXT.
Maybe. To me, though, it just
because
doesn't...
now, like, when you look at it, AEW's fucking suffering. Because
had a little bit of an outbreak. Lance Archer
got sick, and like all these they're like the COVID's like hitting the AEW locker room.
Yeah,
you know, stuff like that where they, you know, there's supposed to be Lance Archer against
Mox.
Maybe, yes,
yeah,
and then they had to, you know, hot shot it and replace him on the show. So I think a lot of, you know, promotions are going to have to, you know, see, okay, who's healthy? It's like, like the Eagles roster, who's a healthy scratch, who, you know, and all that stuff.
And listen, there's absolutely something to be said for that. When you, from week to week, have no idea who's going to pass a test to be able to be on your roster, not the end of the world to have a gigantic stable filled with masked people. Like, I get that aspect of it. It's just so horribly executed.
I think they're protecting those wrestlers' identity, you know, other gimmick identities.
I guess, but it's so poorly executed.
Oh yeah,
and this is what I'm saying. Look, like, I'm a big fan. Something to wrestle. I love listening to Bruce Pritchard tell stories. I am not going to suggest that I could do his job any better than he can. That man, how he's even functioning, is you all right over there?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're on camera here. And no, it was not any. He wasn't. It's not like he was picking his nose or anything. People who were listening on audio. I
was having a little discomfort that I had to fix. So.
But anyway, that sounds worse than what it actually was. It was like a toothpick.
A little flosser gimmick.
Yeah, a little flosser gimmick. There's nothing wrong with that. The way you just I shouldn't have called you out on it, but people are looking. And I realized,
hey, brother.
Yeah, sorry about that, but we can cut all this out. But no, but then but then you're like, it's a little discomfort. People are gonna think you were like sitting on your balls or something.
Not yet.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Meanie.
No, what the fuck are you apologizing for? It's all right. Out of everything that happened leading up to us recording today, that was the least of whatever.
Yeah. So are you saying I have to apologize for all of the technical difficulties?
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You called me out for using a fucking flosser for a second.
Yeah, no one should ever be offended for like people calling them out on like doing things like that. Like, call you out on like, oh man, you don't ever floss. That's one thing. Calling someone out on flossing, it's like, oh, you and taking care of your dental hygiene, you know, like whatever.
Dude, anyway. I had like ate some like a cashew earlier, and I was you were saying something. I just, you know,
doing the tongue-in-cheek thing. I was like, oh, fuck, there's something in my tooth. I went, fuck. So I was like, I thought I was leaning out of frame because we got that half, we got the little square thing.
Yeah.
I thought I was being discreet by going,
That's out of frame. Yeah, no, you weren't out of frame at all. Sorry,
Okay.
man. That's why I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
Figured it was fair game because it was here on the... Anyway. So, no, my feeling, what I was saying...
This is the high-quality content you get for $5 a month.
Yeah, this episode.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm just... To put a bow on this thing... Bruce Pritchard, I don't know how that man's even functioning on like the 1 hour of sleep that he may or may not even be getting. But I am just saying the storyline from a creative standpoint, this would be unacceptable on any other television program. It's garbage. It's terribly written. And I'm sorry, and people, and I'm being a little stiff-ski, as they say, but the reality is it's bad. It's just bad. I'm not saying they haven't done great.
It had promise in some senses.
Yes, but it was very...
Like when they were burning the generator or something like that. I thought maybe it was going to be... Actually, my prediction was going to be Sami Zayn looking for retribution because they, he took time off because of COVID and stuff like that, and then they stripped of the Intercontinental Belt, and he was going to get he's going to get this group of misfit toys kind of just to fuck with the WWE.
But as soon as and it didn't make any sense. It's like retribution for what? You guys are all doing really well in NXT. Like what? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, and it's the whole thing is it's a whole convoluted story that just doesn't make sense. And people would be like, well, you got to let it play out. It's like, well, yes, they could always attempt to steer the ship and explain things away down the line of how this was possible. Like for instance, if we find out the leader of this is Triple H. Well, now everything starts to make a hell of a lot more sense. How Triple H could give them a contract. You know what I mean? It could all start making more sense. But right now, the story doesn't make sense. When people go, "Oh, but it's wrestling," it's like, well, okay, well then fuck us. Why should we even try?
Go give that idea to Paul Heyman.
Yeah,
he can help implement it.
But no, I hate the excuse when people are on social media and they're just like, dude, whatever, it's just wrestling. I'm like, okay, yes. So then wrestling, let's just consistently be terrible. Why not? Yeah. Let's just be bad. It's just wrestling. It doesn't have to be entertaining at all. You're watching The Walking Dead. People say, it's just The Walking Dead. Doesn't have to be good. Stories don't have to make sense. Well, then why am I watching this? This isn't appealing to me anymore. I'm trying to lose myself in entertainment. And when you do something that makes me go, well, that doesn't make sense. That can't be real. That's not and people's response is, well, of course it's not real. It's wrestling. But no, this is I should be either believing it or I should just be enjoying it so much that I don't care that I don't believe it.
Right.
And I'm not getting either of those. So that's
dude. When I was a fan and I was watching, Bill Watts Mid-South or UWF, and the show went off the air, I was always jonesing for the next week.
Yeah.
Counting the hours, minutes, days, whatever. And certain things, it's just like they don't grab me. I mean, I'll watch wrestling regardless.
Yeah.
There's not that thing that makes me go, I gotta see that.
But sometimes I'm even offended by it because of my position in the business where I'll do a monthly show where I talk about headlines or I'll do whatever. I feel like I have to watch. I feel like I can't commentate on something based off of just what I'm seeing on social media. I have to be able to actually watch it to be able to say whether or not I think it's crap. The problem is I now feel like I have to watch it. So I do watch it. And if I didn't have to watch it, I wouldn't. Right. Honestly, I will sometimes check something out, and if it is so bad, I will just fast forward through it. Yeah. And because I can also tell whether or not there's something I need to be watching. And, it is just so, it's a sad formula that's being used again and again. And I just, you talk about being a kid watching stuff I don't know. I don't think it's that, I'm not saying it's easy, but they're overthinking it.
Yeah.
They're overthinking this storyline. I wish I could be a fly on the wall to hear the creative behind this, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. But
flies always land on shit. So
yeah. So that's
look, like you said, I don't envy Bruce having to do any of this.
No,
in the apocalypse. Might it be my? I don't even think we would have this angle if it wasn't for the COVID. I think it would be business as usual. Shows would be doing whatever they're doing, but I think this is just shit. We need something, and we got these guys over on the other roster. Raw's roster's hurting because everybody's out. Shit, let's pull some guys over. Let's protect their identity. But I'm not saying it's good.
Then they had them facing the Hurt Business. So you've been spending this time building up one of the only good things on your show, honestly. Is
Hurt Business is amazing.
Putting this talent together. MVP is the highlight of this entire pandemic of bringing him back. Like, such a good talker. You're finally like Shelton Benjamin.
It's all believable. The Hurt Business is so believable.
Good. And then now you've got the Hurt Business fighting Retribution. Who's the heel? And then I saw somebody was like, well, heels and baby faces, that's such like an old way of thinking. No,
it's not.
That is storytelling, good versus evil. Yes, it is an old way of thinking, the oldest story in the world. And guess what?
And it happens
turn on the news.
work.
It's real.
Yeah.
Good versus evil is real, okay?
Yeah.
And I just, to me, but if you have these guys who are, forget the heel babyface thing. You have a team that's straight up cheating, that's bullying people, that's doing whatever, and then you got the other team doing the same thing, and now they're like fighting for like the justice of what it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's lazy to me. It's lazy writing.
It is.
And I volunteer for free. I will go in and write a week of Raw. Maybe it will suck and that will shut me up, but I am volunteering to go write a week of Raw for free. I promise you, even if it's not that great, it's at least going to be consistent and make sense. Yes. So that's all I'm saying. People might just be like, this is the worst shit I've ever seen, but you can't really poke holes in it, So
look, I'm a fan of bad wrestling too.
There's bad
with
wrestling,
WrestleCrap.
and then there's
we're in the new WrestleCrap era.
Yeah, but there's bad wrestling, and then there's this. Like, this isn't even.
It's
too good to be bad.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Like, it's not bad enough to be good. Too good to be bad, not bad enough to be good. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I like when the lights go out and the name comes up. That's about it.
I mean, that's kind of cool too. Now that they're under contract. I mean, I'm looking at, and I understand I'm looking at it from another thing. When it was first happening, you'd be like, oh, they're in the truck. It's like, what did they show up with? A thumb drive with a ping file of their thing that they put in there? And it's a good thing one of them knows how to operate. Like, I wouldn't know how to operate that. I could barely even get this show on the air today.
They couldn't hack fucking Ecamm Live.
Yeah. That's what I need to do. I need to call Retribution. I need to send a message to T-Bone or whatever the hell his name is, and I need to send him a thing to say, "Hey, you guys have been doing a great job hacking into Raw. Do you know how to operate Ecamm Live?"
Tweet him. I dare you to tweet him.
I will. I'm gonna do it right now while we're on the air. I'm doing it right now.
Hey, excuse me, Mr. Barr.
Is it T-Bar or T-Bar? T-Pain or?
Hold on. I follow him.
T-Bar. So can I tweet at him? Yes. Okay. Hey, you guys are doing a great job hacking the Raw. I'll say the hashtag WWE production trucks. Could you help me and at Blue Meanie, I'm bringing you into this, with Ecamm Live for our podcast at Mind of the Meanie? Please and thank you.
I think we'll have some fun with that.
There we go.
And
hashtag Retribution. And tweet. Okay. Well.
There he is.
Balls in your court, T-Bar.
Yeah. Let me retweet you.
So we'll retweet from the podcast as well.
Now,
like ski right there.
T-Bar's Donovan Divakovic.
Not gonna work here anymore. It's a little
No,
space humor.
I know him from the Monster Factory. He used to come there and stuff like that.
Oh, good. Well, then maybe the fact that I tagged you in it.
Oh, it'd be great.
He won't
We'll get to the bottom of whatever's going with the Ecamm. He can fucking help it. He'll probably help us hack in.
I hope so. This is the opportunity, T-Bar. This is your moment to turn me around on my opinions of Retribution. Yeah. I will start. If you can help us figure out what the hell's going on with Ecamm Live, I promise next month, So Says Shernoff is going to be an entire op-ed on the wonders of Retribution and why it's the greatest storyline in the history of wrestling. Yeah. So, ball's in your court, pal. Oh, hey, we have lots of merch. Let's hear about it. Want to show the world how much you love Mind of the Meanie? Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/MindOfTheMeanie and check out some of the great merchandise we have over there.
One of my favorites is the new Van Meanie shirt. You know, I'm a big fan of Van Halen, and now I get to show it with my own Van Meanie shirt.
And of course, we have the original Mind of the Meanie logo tee by the great Hal Haney. There's Wreck Every Bathroom and Leave, and so much more. So make sure you check out ProWrestlingTees.com/MindOfTheMeanie. But if that's not enough for you and you want to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie and check out all of the great shirts the Blue Meanie has. Meanie, tell us about those.
Hey, I was a part of this thing called the BWO. I don't know if you heard. But we have the original Blue World Order shirt that was one of the highest grossing t-shirts in ECW history. And not only do I have that version of BWO, I have BWO Japan, I have BWO Barbed Wire Border, I have BWO Kansas City Royals logo for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, go over to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie and get yourself one of the original BWO shirts, man.
And if you feel like you really, really need to, you can also go to ProWrestlingTees.com/So Says Shernoff and check out some of the merchandise that I have over there, like the Shernoff tie shirt, or the very popular Sarcasm is My Superpower shirt.
My favorite.
But wait, there's more. Because if we're talking about wrestling shirts, then we have to be talking about the wrestling brand. Collar and Elbow brand.com. Use the promo code Meanie and save 10% over there.
I don't know if you know, but the Blue Meanie and the BWO took over the offices of Collar and Elbow brand. I got a special shirt over there. It's the Collar and Elbow mirror logo, but instead of saying elbow, it says LBWO. So go over there and give Rod Hicks and Al Snow, my big brother, some love and use the promo code Meanie and save yourself some cash.
Great shirts over there. Very excited for that.
Fantastic shirts. Fantastic.
Tremendous.
Fantastic.
Man, so that's I got nothing else to give, Meanie.
Yeah, man. Today was an interesting day.
For the Pod Squad, this was for the Patreon members, this was a 4-hour-long episode where the first hour was us going, the fuck? How do you make this work? I don't understand. Why are we echoing?
Are we echoing in the room? And then listening for waiting for the delay to kick in for him to answer.
That's the thing. There's like a 15-second delay. So our Pod Squad was awesome. They're just like, they're like, hey, you guys are echoing. But then every time we would try something, we had to just sit for 15 seconds to wait and see if there was any response. But
that'd be fun if we had a game called Hit the Delay, where I'll say the first part of, or I'll say the second part of a swear word, count to 14 and go, fuh, and then the thing goes, uck. Let's play the game called Hit the Delay.
Right, but I don't know. But
I'll go it.
It only works if we're.
I know.
Which we were for a while. And
yeah. So we'll hit. I'll say it. Count to 13 and go, shh. And it should meet up with the it. And it'll be like, shh, it.
Oh, man. Hey,
hit the delay.
Did you see what I think I texted you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is such a Conrad Thompson thing, what I just did there. One of my least favorite. I love Conrad, but the man drives me crazy when he'll just be like, he'll say to like Bruce or someone, he'll just be like, oh, did you see the message I sent you? Bruce will start laughing or something, and it'll be like, hey, we can't talk about this. I'll talk to you after. And I'm just sitting there going, what were you talking about? Then I'm texting Dave Silva. Dave, tell me, do you know?
So how far out are we on this?
At this point, how far out are we before we can share it with everybody? I'd say probably a month or so, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, because you don't want to jinx it either, but it looks great.
No, we're not sharing it until it's ready to be shared.
Right.
But no, this is 100% the coolest thing I have ever been a part of for me in the wrestling business.
Awesome.
Really excited about it. But yeah,
yes, sir.
What's that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. No, some really fun things coming up soon. Hey, you know what's coming up? This will air on the 28th, my birthday. So September 28th, 37th in the year of me. Is that how? I don't know. But so October 3rd, I believe.
Yeah.
What's changed to? Cauliflower Alley Club.
Yeah, they're
talk
going
about
to do a virtual convention. Unfortunately, Cauliflower Alley.
I said it wrong
convention.
too. I was like cauliflower hour. Yeah, like I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so CAC.
Yeah, the CAC for short, as the cool kids say.
Yeah.
Their convention was delayed a full year. So what we're going to do is have a virtual CAC convention. We had one. We had a virtual wrestling convention a few months ago, and this year the same folks asked us if we wanted to be a part of that. So it's going to be October 3rd, which is a Saturday, and it'll be on Fight TV for free.
Tentatively, I believe we are planned to be on at 8:30.
Yes. Yeah. They're fleshing out the schedule.
Yeah, they sent us there's an email, and I saw the list of who's supposed to be on for that day, and that was a true one of these things are not like the others. I'm looking at this, and it is like Hall of Famer, legend, Josh Shernoff, legend, Hall of Famer, and I'm just like, okay. So man, Meanie, all I can say is thank you for buying a shirt with such strong coattails that I can hang on to those and ride for forever. No, I'm so excited to even be, to even have my name mentioned if you were on, let alone to be able to be on there with you is going to be so cool. So I'm really excited by it.
And shout out to Kenny Casanova, who was putting this together. He did the virtual wrestling convention, which was like a 2-day online convention. It was a lot of fun. Like right around the time we started this podcast. And then he hit me up and said he wanted to be a part of the virtual. He wanted to put together the virtual CAC. Mm-hmm. So, and it was just a no-brainer to have you on there with me. And I mean, we're both members, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And
where is it? Right there. There's my membership.
Yep.
Right
I have to
there.
get mine framed.
I got to get mine upgraded to a lifetime membership. I've got the year. I mean, it's still for this year. I have an equal membership to everybody else, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll do that.
But go over to caulifloweralley.org if you want to help become a member of one of wrestling's legit charities. It's I forget what the code for it is, but it's a legit charity. Your money goes towards helping wrestlers in need. It's also a tax write-off. So if you your membership is a tax write-off for charity, and also if you go to the banquets, which I gotta get you out to one next April if we're allowed to.
I'm hoping we're gonna be allowed to. I would love to do that.
It's a big banquet where 2-day banquet, and all the proceeds go to helping wrestlers in need, and that itself is also a charitable write-off and stuff like that. So it's going to be a great time, my friend, and I'm glad you're a member. And people have been getting lifetime membership. Seems like on a daily basis they're tweeting out the latest, lifetime member. So
and now I got my in the mail. I got the newsletter which I had never gotten one before. And my name was not in the thing. I think I must have been in the last newsletter from when I joined. But my name was not in there. And I'm like, you know what? My name's going to have to be in there in one of those lifetime ones. I want to see that because it's something that I'm really proud to be a member of it. It was something I always knew of. And then you talked about it more and more. And it was something I'd always kind of like considered. And I was just like, this is something I believe in. I think it's a great, it's just a great community, a great charity. And so I signed up, but I'm going to have to just upgrade that. I guess my feeling whenever my year comes to an end and I need to renew my membership, I'm just going to do the year, or the lifetime at that point.
Yeah.
So
I'm fixing on getting Mrs. Meanie a membership as well.
Yeah.
She has so much fun at the banquets and stuff like that. And it's such a great trip.
Yeah. I'm excited to go out there and just hang around the land of giants. And it'll be nice. Maybe I can be there. I won't even have to get any food for myself. I can just stand under like a dog when people just drop crumbs. I'll be able to catch it.
Well, the first night's of the banquet's really fun. It's called it was originally called the Bologna Blowout, which was like a term used when wrestlers were traveling together and the wives would make sandwiches and whoever had the car would sell the sandwiches to the boys in the car and stuff like that. Usually a bologna sandwich, but now it's called the Bockwinkel Blowout in honor of Nick Bockwinkel, who loved the CAC. And he loved the bologna blowout too, because it's just casual getting together, sharing road stories and connecting and networking and stuff like that. I met so many good friends through the CAC. And
the meanie blowout is what happens after dinner in the lobby bathroom.
Well, there's the thing, like the banquet and everything is all in the same hotel, the Gold Coast Hotel Casino. And then there's like a 24-hour Friday TJIFs in the banquet. And sometimes you'll be there till like 4 a.m. because like there's no clocks or everything. And you're just like having a good old time. And you're like, oh man, I should probably go to bed. And then it all begins, you go back over and have the meanie blowout.
We had one of those in I'm trying to think which pay-per-view. Oh, it was in Baltimore, the AEW one that was in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And it was the last Starcast that they had.
Yeah, and hopefully not the last one ever. But
no, there's going to be, I think, any chance that there wasn't going to be another one, I think now there's definitely going to be. And in a way, it was almost like maybe there was too many, one after the other. But now that first Starcast back, I think people are just going to be so excited to be back amongst each other,
hungry.
But I remember, speaking of hungry, I remember after the show, we were at the hotel and we decided to order a pizza, and the pizza took like an hour and a half to get there. And it was like, I remember we're hanging out there, and Matt Schiavone came, who I love, by the way, great dude. Yeah. He was trying to find somewhere to get something to drink, and then he left for a while, and we thought, oh, we'll never see him again. Then he came back with drinks, and we're still waiting for the pizza to get there. And it was one of those things where eventually it was maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're just we have to go. It's I gotta go to bed. We're all, and I think all of us were sitting there, no one wanted to be the first one to say it. And I was riding a little high. It was because I had just gone, while we were waiting there, I went and FaceTimed. It was 1 a.m. or something. I was FaceTiming my sister in the hospital. She had just had my nephew. And because I got the word that she went into labor while I was at the AEW show. And so I'm in the lobby while we're waiting there. And so I was at first, I'm I'm energized. It's really exciting. I've got, there's a new baby in the family. Really, really cool. And then it just got later and later, and this pizza is not arriving, and I'm so hungry and I'm so tired. And then you're but it's still coming. So I don't want to go up. And it was So I feel if it's anything like that, but the food is on time, I'm good.
Yeah. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah. No,
and I have a friend out there who goes out there all the time, Jim Tiso. He's a member of he's a contributor to the Mob Museum. And we go to the Mob Museum, and that's an amazing time as well. So, yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. So make plans.
someone had said on here before, quite a while ago, that they were. Oh, James Soren said that he can't wait to meet you and me in person, and that's something else. Like, you know, the idea of being a. Oh, Sean Jones is a CAC member. Awesome. And that's the thing. This is, you know, this is not just people who are involved in the wrestling business. You know, this is a way for fans to give back for all of the entertainment that they've been provided with. And it's just an awesome thing. And then you've got these conventions. There's a great opportunity for people to meet each other and see each other. And for us to have this pod squad there. So it's exciting, and hope everybody will tune in on Fight TV. Obviously, we'll be tweeting it all over the place and letting everybody know when we will be on. But for the first time ever, we have a show that is going to air that we're recording right now, and then it'll air, and then the thing will be going on after the fact. So
yes.
Well, cool, man. I've got nothing left.
Yeah, I think this was an eventful day. I think we had a good time, regardless. And
always a good time.
I thank you all for being here.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who hung with us through the what felt like a decade of trying to figure out how to make this work.
Yeah.
But
we made it work.
We did. We made it work, and that's all that matters. So yeah, Meanie, any last words?
Thank you for hanging in there. If you want, follow me on. If you're new to the podcast, follow me on all social media at Blue Meanie BWO. If you want me to give you a well wish or a birthday wish or whatever kind of wish, go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO. And
do I have to go to Cameo, or can I just get one now?
Hi, Josh.
Hi.
Hi.
It's my birthday.
I wish you
airing.
well.
It's my birthday.
Hey, brother. Let's get into it. Happy birthday today or Monday. You know, today's Saturday. Monday. I'm so confused. we've been through a lot today. So,
yes.
But no, seriously, happy birthday, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for everything you've done for the podcast. You work hard and make me proud. So,
thank you so much.
Yes,
it's my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure.
Thank you.
And follow us on social media at Mind of the Meanie across all platforms. You can follow Meanie, as he said, at Blue Meanie BWO. I'm at So Says Shernoff. So follow us as individuals if you'd be so kind. My mouth is starting to not work anymore. I think it is quitting time. I'm gonna go drink something a little harder than some seltzer and try and just relax. So until next Monday, this has been the Mind of the Meanie, and that's not how I normally sign off. Until next, we'll see you again next month. God. See you again next Monday for another trip into the mind of the Meanie.